Stand up, New York Giant fans. Victory Monday. How does it feel, guys? How does it feel to everybody in the chat? Because I know we're not so used to this feeling, and by no means am I saying that the season's turned around. We still got a long way to go. But for me, it felt glorious to be able to wake up this morning and know that the New York Giants got a much-needed win on the road against the New Orleans Saints in a harsh environment. We're going to talk about the way that they played yesterday. I also really wanted to hit home with the offense and some of the things that I've really liked so far with this football team this year, specifically yesterday with the offense. Yes, I know they only had 10 points with about 9 minutes to go in that game, but we've seen a lot of explosive plays with this offense. I think there's a lot more potential going forward if they continue to open up the playbook. And I think we've seen 2 games so far this year where they've done that, and we've seen 2 games where they really have not. But I want to jump into some very interesting statistics for you guys and just how much more explosive this offense has been so far this year, and that's with a lack of chemistry from Kenny Golladay. That's with Kadarius Tony not being on the field until yesterday. That's without Saquon Barkley being himself until yesterday. It looks like he's starting to get a lot closer to that. But this offense has been much more explosive this year, and they've gone up against some pretty high-quality defenses. Of course, we got a big test coming up against the Dallas Cowboys. We'll go over the whole schedule, but Daniel Jones starting to make some believers out of Giants fans. I'm sure there's still some that are definitely going to doubt him, and we need more consistency. We need this team to continue to improve and grow for people to believe in it. But you know what? From a glass-half-full approach so far this year, one thing I could say for certain, the 2 most important positions, at least in my opinion, on a football team are the quarterback and the left tackle. And so far this year, it is undeniable that both of those guys have improved dramatically. Andrew Thomas looks like a different player. Andrew Thomas has not given up a sack in 4 games. Andrew Thomas is the highest graded tackle of any tackle that was drafted in the first round in last year's draft class. He looks like an absolute mauler. And when you go back and you watch the film from yesterday's game, what the offensive line has done with the lack of talent on this roster has been incredible. And I think Rob Sale needs a ton of credit for it. But Andrew Thomas has been phenomenal on the blind side for Daniel Jones. And I think that more than anything else is the biggest reason why we've seen a progression in Jones this year. When you don't have to worry about your blind side protection, you see Daniel Jones. He's able to face the pressure. He's able to maneuver in the pocket. When you can't trust your blind side, you're going to get killed. And I think it's evident that Daniel Jones has been much better in terms of his pocket awareness this year, but I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that Andrew Thomas, to me, has been incredible for this New York Giants football team in his second year in the NFL, and hopefully that can only continue. But as a Giants fan, that's the way I look at the first 4 games. Yeah, we're up to a 1-3 start. Yeah, the defense certainly is not getting the job done, and we need them to get much better. But I'll tell you this right now, man, the 2 most important positions on a football team look a lot better. So for the long-term success of this team, I have a lot more confidence right now than I did before the year started at both the quarterback and left tackle position. And hopefully Daniel Jones can keep it going. Guy threw for 400 yards yesterday. Didn't really have any turnovers. I don't care about the halftime interception. Doesn't mean anything to me. The guy's been really good with the football, and you're starting to see the big playability. I want to talk about these stats with you guys in 1 second. Then I'm going to get to the chat. I'm going to say hello to everybody. I'm going to talk about answer some of your super chats. I want to talk about this real quick because I was looking over on NFL.com today. Last year, we all agree that a big problem with this New York Giants offense was the lack of big plays. Last year, in 16 games, the New York Giants had 5 plays of over 40 yards, one of which came in a start in which Daniel Jones did not play, where Wayne Gallman had a big run against the Seattle Seahawks. They had 5 plays of 40 or more yards. So far, through 4 games, the New York Giants have 6 plays of 40 yards or more. 6. A run from Jones, a run from Barkley, 4 throws through the air by Daniel Jones. 6. And if they didn't call back the C.J. Board holding penalty, that's 7. And if Darius Slayton holds onto the football, that's 8. Last year, they had 5 in 16 games. The offense is certainly opening up the playbook. We're becoming much more explosive. You saw the influence that Kadarius Tony could have on this football team yesterday. And as a Giants fan, I couldn't be happier in terms of the growth of this offensive line. And people could say what they want about Dave Gettleman. Listen, I made a video bashing Dave Gettleman, and by no means am I backing Dave Gettleman right now. I need to see this team continue to do much better and be much more consistent before I'm willing to say we need to give this guy another year. But one thing I will say, yesterday, all 4 first-round picks were big in that game. Kadarius Tony, Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones, and Andrew Thomas. So a great performance yesterday by the offense. We need the defense to continue to progress and hopefully get better. But I was really encouraged based off of yesterday, and we'll see how we do against the Dallas Cowboys. We know it's going to be a tough test, but let me say hello to a couple people in the chat, man. What's going on, Akeem? What's going on, Greg? What's going on, Manuel? What's going on, Joseph Cupid? Word in the chat, Nick in the chat, Chris in the chat, Albin in the chat, Sports Critic in the chat, Mark in the chat, Crimson in the chat, amazing guy in the chat, Chris Tyler in the chat, Gary Gaston in the chat, Albin in the chat, Yo-Yo in the chat. Thank you to everybody for being here. Really appreciate it, man. And what's going on there? HC Lunar, man. Thanks for popping in. True Rappless says, howdy. Saquon is trusting his burst finally. Saquon looked like a much different player yesterday. He really did. And I started to see it last week. But this past week, I think it was much more evident. And the thing that I loved about Saquon yesterday was the way that they're starting to use him in the passing game. And you started to see that last week as well. The first play of the game, they dumped it down to him in open space. And one of the key guys in this upcoming game for the New York Giants, as far as I'm concerned, is going to be Saquon Barkley on the offensive end in terms of the playmakers. Listen, Diggs is a beast, the cornerback for the Dallas Cowboys. He's going to be locked on Kenny Golladay. By no means am I saying don't take any shots, but the Giants got to try to find ways to create big plays elsewhere. I do think they could take advantage of Dallas's coverage over the middle with Barkley, Kadarius Tony, and dare I say one of the tight ends, hopefully not Evan Engram. But I think that's where they can attack the field in terms of the passing game. And obviously you got to try to attack the other cornerback. Diggs has been fantastic so far this year, but got to get Barkley more involved in the passing game. I love to see that this past week by the New York Giants. Yuri says, Wirfs got tossed by Lawrence Guy. Second time he got tossed, unlike our guy, Andrew Thomas. No one hasn't body slammed him. Listen, man, I know a lot of fans last year were destroying Andrew Thomas. They said that, he's the next Eric Flowers and he's a bust because the way he played in the first 3 or 4 weeks. When you think about what Andrew Thomas has gone through so far as a prospect, he's gone through 3 offensive line coaches. Last year, he was playing with a quarterback who had never played in a scheme. He was playing with a brand new offensive line in terms of, Nick Gates had never played the center position. He's gone through 5 different guards throughout his career. And for him to be playing the way that he is so far speaks volumes. And it definitely looks like a much better pick by the New York Giants than it did this time last year. Right now, to me, he looks as good as any tackle in that draft class. And a lot of people are going to say Mekhi Becton. A lot of people are going to say Tristan Wirfs. Listen, Mekhi Becton can't stay on the field. He's hurt again this year. I think he missed 2 or 3 games last year. Tristan Wirfs plays on the right side, and he has Tom Brady. And Jedrick Wills, I think he's been better than him so far this year. So far this year, you could certainly make an argument that Andrew Thomas has been the best of the 4 and is probably the biggest reason why this offense has looked as improved as it has. We still need it to be more consistent, and we need to really cash it in the red zone, something that we struggled with throughout the entirety of that game. We continue to struggle there. That has to get much better. Of course, we got a red zone touchdown to close the game out, but outside of that, it was big plays. The big play to John Ross, the big play to Saquon Barkley. That's how we've gotten the majority of our touchdowns so far this year. We got to get much better from within inside the 20 if we're going to expect to be able to win some of these football games. And we got a really challenging schedule coming up. We're going to go over it. So by no means am I saying the offense is a finished product, but I do think it's showing signs of life and signs of potential improvement. We have a lot of big play threats in this offense. And, Kadarius Tony yesterday, to me, when we drafted Tony, I liked him. I did. Go back in my Discord long before I was saying that I think Tony could be a really good player in the NFL. I didn't know how well he would fit in the New York Giants scheme, and I did think he was a bit of a project due to the fact that he only had 1 year really of experience in terms of being a starting wide receiver in college. Most people thought he was going to be a gadget type wide receiver. But what I will say about Kadarius Tony based off yesterday, maybe I'm wrong. In my opinion, and when I got to watch back the highlights and what people had to say about him, I think this guy could be a every down wide receiver that you can line up in the slot. You can line up on the outside. The guy creates quick separation. I was very impressed with Kadarius Tony. And he could be a big, big part of this offense going forward. The Giants need to continue to involve him in this offense. I was very impressed with Kadarius Tony yesterday. And Kaden, thank you very much. How about them Giants? How about them Giants is right, man. Hopefully you're enjoying your victory Monday, Kaden. And Olivia says, is the Dallas defense better than the Saints defense? I mean, listen, the Dallas defense, and I don't have the stats in front of me. I know they've created a ton of turnovers. They had 4 created turnovers against the Bucs. I think they had 2 or 3 against the Chargers. Like, they've created a lot of turnovers, and that's why that defense has played as good as they have. But I'm going to tell you my biggest worry right now with the Dallas Cowboys. It's not the defense. It's not Dak's arm. My biggest worry with the Dallas Cowboys going into this game, especially with the way that our defense has played through the first 4 weeks, is the run game. The Dallas Cowboys are getting back to what they do best before, really like 2018, 2019, when that offense was at their best. They grounded the hell out of the football, and that's what they've been doing. They ran for over 200 yards again yesterday, and I personally think by them running the ball as effectively as they have, that's making the defense look better than it really is. That's my honest opinion. Now, the defense is definitely better than I thought it would be. No denying that. But when you have an offense that can control the clock, in which the Dallas Cowboys are able to do the way they've been running the football over the last 3 weeks or so, that's going to make your defense look that much better. So the biggest worry for me going into this game is how in the world are we going to stop that Dallas run attack? Because that has been what's winning them football games. This past week, they ran for over 200 yards. They ran for over 200 yards, I think, against the Chargers. And they're getting back to that, and they're winning the time of possession. They're grinding out the clock. They're beating down their opponents physically. They have a very strong offensive line. And to me, that's the biggest worry I got going into this game. I would much rather Dak Prescott throw for 450 yards and them not kill us with their ground attack throughout the entirety of the game. Let Dak beat you with his arm. I do not want to get killed in the ground game. I stuff the box, and I try to contain that run attack as best as I possibly can. Zeke looked really good yesterday. That's what I worry about more than anything else. But, Diggs looks really good. Parsons, of course, they're using him more off the edge right now. Looked like he was a liability in coverage the first game against the Bucs. From what I've heard, they're not using him so much in coverage anymore. But they've got a young the one thing that really stood out to me when I watched Dallas, a couple of games I have watched so far with their defense, they play fast. And I don't know if that's Dan Quinn's influence in terms of the defensive coordinator. They're very aggressive, but they play very fast. Mike, thank you very much. The O-line has enabled Saquon. Roldy on 78. Oh, Andrew Thomas is a beast, man. Boldy on 78. Yeah, I saw that on Twitter. I saw like a 2-minute clip. I don't know if it was a longer video, but I saw like a 2-minute clip of him talking about Andrew Thomas. And 100%, man. You get a great left tackle, and I don't want to just give him the credit. It was the entire offensive line yesterday. Even Nate Solder was playing good. You get good offensive line production, it's going to make everybody's job easier. You get Saquon Barkley going, that's going to give Daniel Jones easier opportunities to make plays. Same thing for the wide receivers, everything else. Everything starts at the line, and if this offensive line continues to do what they've been doing, and I'm even starting to buy in. I've been skeptical of this offensive line the entire year. I'm still not completely sold because, quite frankly, I don't think we have a ton of talent, but he's getting the most out of it, and as a unit, they're looking good. So I'm starting to get more and more confidence in this offensive line. I thought yesterday's performance outside of the first drive, really, or maybe it was the second drive where I kind of bashed them a little bit. I thought they did a hell of a job, and that's what's going to win us football games this year if we're going to be able to do it. Brandon, man, thank you very much. We got to find a way to keep Tony involved naturally, not force feeding him. Slayton and Shepard need to have their roles reduced and possibly traded. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much you'd be able to get for Sterling Shepard, and I love Sterling Shepard. He was off to a great start so far this year for the New York Giants before he got hurt. But I don't know how much you would get for him because the guy makes a lot of money. He has injury problems. I think Sterling Shepard's here to stay for at least another year after this year. And I don't think he's going to be kicked out of the offense. Slayton, however, I think will be. But it's going to be interesting to see how they try to implement both Shepard and Tony and try to get them their reps. They're going to have to do it, man. Shepard's too talented, though. You can't completely kick him out of this offense. He was our best wide receiver before he went down. But Tony certainly needs to be involved. And I think they're going to get more and more and more creative with Kadarius Tony as the season goes along. As I said in the live stream yesterday, I really love the play call that they ran when they tried to set him up to throw that bomb. I would like to see him used a little bit more in the backfield, direct handoffs, things like that. And we'll see as the season goes along. He hasn't been used in special teams yet either, so we'll see if they decide to do that. Rocket says, you saw how I teabagged the Eagle. Hand me my W's. Thank you very much, Patrick Mahomes. Always happy when the Eagles go down with a loss. The Eagles actually kept that relatively close until that game wore along. I was a little bit surprised. I didn't think the Eagles would keep up with them as long as they did. So hats off to the Eagles fans if you're listening. I thought you guys would lose by 1 million. Instead, you lost by like 15 or whatever it was. Independent says, the O-line needs improvement and we need better ball control. But DJ's awareness is very encouraging. Playing smart. By the way, Rojas really, I said that on Twitter earlier, Independent, about Rojas. And I think it was a good move by the Mets. I liked Rojas, seemed like a really good guy. To me, it looked like he was well-spoken when it came to the media. But in terms of his baseball management, I thought there were a lot of times where he would misuse the bullpen. Not the biggest Rojas fan. Of course, I was rooting for him. Seemed like a really good guy. But I think that was a good move. As far as the offensive line, of course, it needs to continue to improve. And like I said earlier, by no means am I completely sold on this offensive line yet. But they're much better than I thought they would be. And now we have a sample size. Yes, is the run blocking great yet? No. But even yesterday with the run blocking, for us to average 4 yards a carry against that team who was only surrendering 2.8 yards per carry coming in, that's encouraging, man. I think that's encouraging. And if there is one place where we could really attack this Dallas defense, it is just that. It is running the football. You look at their numbers, I think they're 26th or 27th against the run in terms of yards per carry against. And I'm going to tell you right now what my offensive strategy would be going against the Cowboys. I would use the hell out of the RPO with Daniel Jones, and I would try to use a lot of screen passes with Saquon Barkley. Reason being, they have an inexperienced player there in Micah Parsons. I would try to get him to overcommit and create big plays with screen passes, Daniel Jones runs, things like that. I would run a lot of plays to his side. I would try to get Micah Parsons to overcommit. Really talented player. He's aggressive. Try to get him to overrun, overcommit, and try to create some big plays off his side. That would be what I would try to do in this football game. And I really do like the way in which they utilized Saquon Barkley this past week in the passing game. Cheyenne, man, thank you very much. One win and Facebook instant crash. Imagine when we win the Super Bowl. Yes, please. I saw that even StreamYard was having issues. I didn't know that I was going to be able to do the stream today, but I guess they got it situated. But yeah, I don't know what was going on with that. All the social media outlets were down today, but thankfully I was able to go live. Austin, man, thank you very much. What plays would you like to see for Kadarius Tony? Continue the potential pass plays. Yeah, I mean, I don't want him throwing a pass every game. At some point, that becomes, too predictable. But I do think they got to try to, pull that rabbit out of the hat a couple more times this year. It's certainly something that he could use. And I said it when we drafted him, man. One thing that I definitely want to see with Tony is the Wildcat. I really do. I think we could use him kind of like the, and not that he's the same type of player. Yesterday with Taysom Hill, he's running people over. But it's similar in that role. I'd like to see Tony get a couple of plays in that role. We saw how elusive the guy is. Give him an opportunity with an extra blocker with the Wildcat to try to make some plays, maybe even at the goal line where we've had issues, on the jet sweep, which I hated that call. But if you're going to make that call, give it to Tony. Don't give it to Engram. It's not like Ingram's going to make anybody miss. And Tony's got more speed. He's more elusive. So I think we got to use him. We got to be creative with Tony. But also I want to continue to let him have a regular route tree. I do think he could be a every down type of wide receiver as this year progresses. I do think he's pretty talented. And so far, based off of yesterday's performance, it looks like a pretty good pick by the New York Giants based off the fact that we traded down and we got him at 20. We'll see how he continues to progress. Obviously, defenses are going to get a book on him now. But, I was watching the replays. I was watching the highlights. The nickname is super fitting, man. The human joystick. That's exactly what that guy is, man. Looks like he's dancing on the football field and nobody could catch up. So I was super impressed with Kadarius Tony yesterday. And I think he definitely adds a lot to this offense. And awesome, man. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate the $2 donation. Thank you very much. Thank you for being a great supporter of the channel. And thank you to everybody for being here. Also, somebody became a member at the beginning. I meant Bryce, I think it was. Thank you for becoming a member. I almost forgot. And hopefully you're still in the stream. Thank you for becoming a member. Prism Mike says, how do we beat Dallas? I'm not too confident. I mean, I'm not going to come on here and tell you that I expect to beat Dallas, man. Dallas is a really good football team. They're up to a really good start. It's in Dallas. They should win this game. I picked us to lose this game before the year started. Could we win? Yeah. The Saints should have won their game. It was the first game in the Superdome all year. They were 7-point favorites. Could we win? Yeah. It's the old adage. Any given Sunday, anybody could win. How could we beat them? Well, we cannot get into a shootout with the Dallas Cowboys. If we do that, we're playing into their best interest. Now, by no means am I saying that I don't want Daniel Jones to take shots. I still want to be aggressive on offense. I still want to open up this offense, take shots down the field. But the New York Giants have to do a much better job in this game offensively of controlling the clock. We cannot get into a shootout with the Dallas Cowboys. In my opinion, we will not be able to go. If this game's in the 30s, we're not beating the Cowboys. That's what they want. They want us to play that type of fashion of football. I don't see the New York Giants winning in that way. But I do think we need to give Daniel Jones opportunities to air it out when we can. But we need to do a much better job at establishing the run against the Dallas Cowboys. Like I said, their Achilles heel on defense, if there is one so far this year, has been against the run. So I think you need to try to utilize Daniel Jones's legs. You need to try to utilize Saquon Barkley maybe in draw plays, screen passes, things like that. But I do think we'll be able to move the ball against Dallas. Obviously, you have to continue to try to play mistake-free football, and creating a turnover or two wouldn't hurt. You know what I'm saying? They're clearly the favorites going in. I'm not going to I know we all hate the Cowboys, but I am not going to overlook them for sure. They're the favorites. They should win this game. It's in Dallas, but crazier things have happened. And I said it in the stream yesterday, man. When the year started, I had the New York Giants starting 2-4 through their first 6 games. I had us beating Denver. I had us beating Atlanta. Had us losing to Washington. Had us losing to the Saints. Had us losing to the Cowboys, and had us losing to the Rams. I had us starting 2-4 through 6 games. I had us finishing 9-8. So if we could win one out of the next 2 games, they'd still be exactly where I thought they were going to be before the year started. It would just be in a different way, an unexpected way. I didn't think we'd go into New Orleans, and I definitely didn't think we'd go into Dallas or beat the Rams. If we could win one out of these next 2 games and get to 2-4, we're going to go over the schedules as the stream progresses. I do think there's an opportunity if this team continues to progress to find a way to win 8 or 9 games this year if things bounce our way. But we got to see how this team plays over the course of the season. But a big win yesterday to hopefully get things kickstarted. But thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it, buddy. Pimp named Slickback says, Jones RPO versus Dallas's aggressive defense. Got to do it, man. Got to do it. That is got to be a focal point of the offense this week. Like I said, screen passes, RPOs for Daniel Jones. You watch this Dallas defense, like you said, they are super aggressive and they look super fast because they're constantly blitzing. They're very fast. They're an athletic defense, but they're young. And like you said, get them to overcommit. Give yourself opportunities with draw plays, screen passes, RPOs by Daniel Jones. I think there's going to be opportunities in the ground game, the short passing game, with a lot of open field space if they do it properly and they come up with a good game plan. And if you get this defense to start to creep up, that is when you try to attack them with the big passing opportunities. I do think this is a defense we can put points on the board against. There's no doubt about it. I know they've been off to a good start this year. I know they've created a lot of turnovers. The Giants will have to come out with a strong offensive game plan, but I do think Daniel Jones could have a very good day against the Dallas Cowboys, and why shouldn't I? He's gone up against the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints had the number 1 rushing attack defense in the NFL in terms of yards per carry against going into that game yesterday. They were a good defense, tough environment on the road. Daniel Jones looked terrific. Dallas Cowboys defense ain't better than the Saints. So I think we can move the ball against them. And I think Daniel Jones can have a good game against them. And I've got confidence in my quarterback. And I think the Giants are going to be able to put up points on the Cowboys. What I worry about a lot more is the defense, man. Going up against that high-powered offense and that strong ground game. Awesome, man. Thank you very much. We should put Tony at kick returner or punt returner. Yeah, I said that yesterday as well. One of my subscribers, I forgot who it was, brought up a good point. You don't want to have to worry about injuries, right? Jason Seorn, we all think about that. He's a guy that you think is going to be a big part of this football team going forward. So I get that aspect of it. But a player as explosive as he is, man, I don't know, man. I'd like to see him get some opportunities, but I can see both sides of the argument with it. But thank you very much, buddy. I appreciate it. And let's see. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. Joe was next here. Let me get Juicy. The members don't pop up on here, but I got on the phone. Honestly, our O-line looked good. And thank you for being a member, Juicy. Honestly, our O-line looked good, not great. It has been serviceable, and that's paid dividends last night. I actually think that this was the first game, and I've said it constantly on all my streams, Juicy, that the offensive line was being overrated by the fan base. I think the fan base was so used to poor offensive line play that when they saw semi-adequate offensive line play, they were saying they were doing a really good job. Yesterday, I don't know how you could watch how that offensive line performed yesterday against that defense and say that they didn't do a great job. I thought the offensive line was incredible yesterday, to be honest with you. And if the offensive line could do that every week, we're going to win more football games than you think. The offensive line was awesome yesterday. The push they were able to get up front, the pass protection was great throughout the entire game, man. I was really impressed. They had a Twitter clip of the 2-point conversion where Daniel Jones was able to run it in. Andrew Thomas was steamrolling his guy. Matt freaking Skura, man, playing at the left guard looked good, man. Guys typically a center. My hat goes off to Rob Sale. What he's been able to do with this unit has been terrific so far this year. We got to keep that guy around. Give that guy a raise. Let's see what we got. Got pimp named Slickback already. Got Awesome already. And Raphael, man, thank you very much. Seeing Dak carve up the Panthers worries me. Well, the offense should worry you. We knew going in that Dallas was going to have a top 3, top 5 offense. They have a really good offense. We know that. The question is, our defense, they're going to get touchdowns. They're going to put points on the board. To win this game, Giants are going to have to score in the 30s. I really believe that, unless Dallas just plays a really sloppy football game. We're going to have to score in the 30s to beat the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. I really believe that. But if we're going to win this game, I do expect Patrick Graham to have a bend but don't break approach. We're going to have to hold them to field goals instead of touchdowns when they get into the red zone. And like I said, we have to do a pretty good job against that running attack by the Dallas Cowboys. But their offense should worry you. But their defense, I know it's off to a good start. I do think we'll be able to put points up on the board against that Dallas Cowboys defense. Joseph, man, thank you very much. Our 4 first-round picks all shine yesterday. Yeah, I kind of said that earlier at the top of the stream, Joe. And by no means am I saying that I'm back on the Dave Gettleman train. He's got a lot more to prove this year with this team before I say that I definitely want to commit to him for another year. But yesterday was a good showing by his first-round picks. Like you said, Kadarius Tony, a big plus yesterday. Of course, Saquon Barkley looked like he was getting back to his normal self. Daniel Jones and Andrew Thomas, man. And if nothing else comes out of Dave Gettleman, hopefully the 2 most important players on a football team, if he is relieved of duty or if he retires, look like they have potential with Andrew Thomas and, of course, Daniel Jones. So a really good showing by both the left tackle and the quarterback yesterday. Jova, man, thank you very much. Can we get O-line or D-line depth player for Engram? No. You couldn't get me for Evan Engram. I can't imagine anybody trading right now for Evan Engram. He's a disaster. He had another drop yesterday, hit both his hands. I know it was a little bit behind him, but he had to sit down in the zone. He had to catch that football. Evan Engram, to me, has very little trade value at this point. So he's going to be a Giant. We're not trading him, and there is no way in hell you'd ever get a serviceable offensive lineman for Evan Engram at this point in time. Tom, man, thank you very much. Lions 0-4 and tanking. Trade Penny. No, Tom. No. No chance in hell would they trade Penny Sewell, man. He's still on his rookie contract. He's their Andrew Thomas. He's the guy that they want to be their left tackle for the next 10 to 15 years. They don't touch that guy. That's one of the guys for sure they know we're going to be on that team for a long time. I'd love to have him. And Adonja, man, thank you so much, man. I say we replace Slayton with Tony. Yeah, I don't, people brought this up to me on Twitter, and it was a good point. Like Slayton and Tony, they're not the same type of wide receiver, right? Ross is a lot more like Slayton than Tony is. So maybe Ross gets his reps a little bit. Maybe they split it between him and Slayton. But when I said that I wanted Tony to replace Slayton, it wasn't necessarily his role. It was his target share. Like, I don't want Slayton getting 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 targets a game going forward. I want those targets going to Tony. Tony's a guy that can create big plays. And, yeah, Tony looked like he had some drop problems as well. I got to be fair. He dropped one pass, should have dropped two, but there was a penalty on it. But in terms of his explosiveness and elusiveness when he's out in the open field, Darius Slayton simply just does not bring that to the table. So I'm with you, man. I want Slayton started to be eased out of this offense and get more reps for Kadarius Tony and get him more opportunities to create big plays for this football team. The Imp, what's going on, man? Can we stick with the tall, fast, talented receivers for now? Can we stick with the tall, fast, talented receivers for now? Well, I mean, I don't know what you mean. I mean, the tall receivers on this team are Kenny Golladay and Colin Johnson. He's 6'6". Galladay's 6'4". Tony's 6'1". Shepard's I think he's about 5'11". So our tall receivers would be Johnson and Golladay. Slayton, I think, is 6'2". We don't really have anybody outside of that in terms of excessive height for this football team. But yeah, I think we need a good blend of both, though, man. I think Tony brings a different element to this offense. He creates quick separation and is able to create easy passing opportunities for Daniel Jones if you use him properly in this offense. Tony, Matt, thank you very much. Our offense looks how it should. Need improvement in the end zone. Yeah, the red zone. But our defense just looks bad, in my opinion. I don't understand how we don't have a pass rush. Yeah, the pass rush has been super underwhelming for me. Ironically, the only game so far this year where the pass rush I thought looked pretty good in terms of getting to the quarterback was week 1 against Denver. I think we got 3 sacks in that game, and we did get a lot of pressure on Bridgewater. Bridgewater just made plays. That game, I thought we got pretty good pressure throughout the entirety of that game for the most part. We got good interior pressure. But since that game, man, we have not been getting home to the quarterback. We just haven't. The coverage has been better. It seems like the New York Giants have not blitzed nearly as much. I'm going to have to look at the stats on that in terms of the blitz frequency. But it just seems like they haven't been as aggressive in terms of trying to get after the quarterback, and they're kind of conceding and dropping 7 or 8 guys back in coverage more often than not. But the pressure just has not been there. You're absolutely right. We didn't have a sack yesterday. Jared, man, thank you very much. 3 years and you've never said it. Will you say it now? Danny Dimes. I said it yesterday on Twitter. Haven't said it on YouTube. I don't like to give guys nicknames before they've earned it. I'll say this, Jared. Yesterday, he earned that nickname. Yesterday. Now, am I going to permanently call him that? No, he's got to earn it. He's got to earn my trust a little bit more. And I've been on the Daniel Jones train before the year started. I saw what he brought to the table last year. People who just look at the stats didn't see in my opinion, some of the progressions in his game. I did think he got much better in terms of his pre-snap reads last year. He looked like he was reading the field better. He got hurt. You think about those 2 or 3 games before he got hurt, he was starting to really ascend and become better in this scheme. And I had a lot of confidence going into this year with getting Barkley back, with adding Golladay, with adding Tony, the offensive line hopefully improving, Andrew Thomas year 2, so on and so forth, that he was going to look like a much better quarterback. And so far he has. I don't like giving guys nicknames, though, until they really earn it. I'm a proof in the pudding type of guy. But yesterday, I will call him Danny Dimes. Yesterday was his best performance as a pro. And you can make an argument so far this year, his two best performances as a pro have come week 2 and week 4. Against Washington, when you factor in the defense they were supposed to have, and he had an incredible game that game. They had 2 touchdowns called, one called back, the other dropped by Slayton. Otherwise, he would have had over 300 yards passing and 100 yards rushing and 4 total touchdowns. And this past week, he was incredible. So you can make an argument his 2 best games as a pro have come within the first 4 games of this season, and the other 2 games, he's at least been okay. He hasn't had like a dud so far this year. So far, Daniel Jones looks like a much better quarterback. And if he keeps this up and keeps getting better, I'll be calling him Danny Dimes before the end of the year. Duskman, thank you very much. DJ is projected to have 4,700 yards according to ESPN and is a top 10 in QBR. Yeah, actually, based on a 17-game schedule, I think it's 50-45 in yards. I posted that on Twitter yesterday as well. Just over 5,000 yards based on a 17-game schedule is what Daniel Jones is projected to put up this year. Last year, it was nowhere near that, obviously. So awesome stuff so far, the way that they've given him more opportunities in this offense this year. So I'm super excited, man. To see if he can continue to get it going. And yeah, like you said, top 10 in QBR. A lot of people don't look at that. Jalen Hurts is like 28th in that statistical category. Daniel Jones is really high, and I think it's because of his deep ball accuracy. They take that a lot into account with that statistic. They take big plays into account. Will, man, thank you very much. Are Slayton, Engram worth keeping on this roster? No. Well, yes for Slayton, because Slayton has no financial commitment. I just don't want Slayton having a big role in the offense, but I think he's worth being a wide receiver for. I see no problem with that. Engram, long-term, I don't want him anywhere near the New York Giants. I think this is his last year with the team. Does he present a mismatch? Yes. But is he a guy that every time he touches the ball, I'm scared he's going to do something stupid with it? Yes. I don't see him in the long-term plans with this team. I can't see the New York Giants giving him a big-time contract after this year. Slayton, I see being here next year. There's no reason not to. He's on a fifth-year contract. He was a fifth-round pick contract, so he's not making a whole lot of money. So next year, there's no reason not to have Slayton still on this team. MV, man, thank you very much. That first down on the 3rd and 18, Katie, was great. Yeah, I don't know if the marker, I was talking to one of my subscribers in my Discord yesterday, and I don't know if the marker was off. He said it was. It looked like he was like a yard short on that play, and the New York Giants got a favorable spot. But regardless, that play was awesome. And he had another really good play right around midfield where he made 3 guys miss. And there was another play where he had like a 6-yard gain where he kind of did a little stutter step, got the linebacker to overcommit, and then he jetted forward to pick up the first down. The human joystick is such an appropriate nickname for Kadarius Tony, but a really impressive showing. And you could just tell if you get that guy out in open space and he has a one-on-one opportunity, and if he makes the guy miss, he's taken to the house, he's going to take it to the house. This guy is going to create some big touchdown opportunities in this New York Giants offense this year. He just is, man. The guy is a dynamic playmaker. So really encouraging to see what the rookie did yesterday. Andrew, man, thank you very much. If the Giants beat the Cowboys, Garrett needs to sign his name under Eli's in the away locker room. Yes. I like that. That's a good one. And Daniel Jones needs to sign right underneath it. That is one of my favorite Eli Manning moments of all time, when he signed the wall at the new Cowboys Stadium after the New York Giants took him down in the inaugural season of that stadium. But yeah, absolutely, man. Jason Garrett's got to sign his name on that wall. I'm with you on that, Andrew. That's a good call by you. Well, I'm glad to see Authentic in here, man. Authentic, I don't know if you texted me. My phone wasn't working too well. But next time, if you want me to come on, I'd love to come on your show. I didn't get an opportunity to pop on there today. Daniel Smith, stand up, new member. Welcome to the squad, man. Thank you so much, man. I got to do a member stream at some point this week, probably tomorrow. I wanted to do one yesterday before the game, but I couldn't. So I'll probably do one for like an hour tomorrow. I'm going to be away for 3 days after that, so it's probably the only day I could do it. But thank you very much, buddy. Chris, let me just make sure that I didn't miss anybody on the phone. And yeah, Bill, man, thank you so much. Just can't pull it up here because it's a little bit behind, but I'll read it on the phone. Bill, man, thank you so much, man. Key to Dallas: long, sustained drives, control the clock, keep Dak off the field. 100%. We cannot let our defense tire out, and we got to try to tire out their defense. And that's what I said. Like, I personally think, Bill, I think back to the good Cowboys teams, you know, when their offense was running appropriately, in my opinion. I thought they got too pass happy the last couple of years. But when they used to run an offense the way they're running it now, I always thought that it masked their defense. It made their defense look better than what it really was, because they were able to control the clock and they were able to keep their defense fresh, and they were able to wear down the opposition. Well, the New York Giants cannot allow that to happen in this game. And if they're able, like you said, to get a ground game established and have 5, 6, 7-minute drives and keep our defense fresh and wear down their defense, it could pay dividends as the game goes along. So I'm with you, man. We cannot try to get into a shootout with the Dallas Cowboys. You know, you don't play to the strength of your opponent. The strength of that team, they're one of the top 3 or 4 offenses in the league. They could play both ways. They could grind you out with the ground game, but they certainly could get into a shootout, and they're better equipped to win a game like that than we are. So the New York Giants got to play it smart. They got to play ball control, but they got to take some shots as well. When they're at the 30, 40-yard line, take a couple of shots, man, towards the end zone, because we know we've struggled from within inside the 20 when the field starts to shrink. So we got to be smart in terms of our play calling, but I agree with you. We got to find a way to establish a ground game and chew up some clock if we want to stand a chance to beat the Dallas Cowboys this week. I'm with you on that. And I got you here. Chris Devers, man, thank you very much. Enjoy today because next Monday, nope. Hashtag We Dem Boys. I'm looking forward to playing you guys this week, man. I'm just glad we got a win, and I feel a lot better about my football team. I feel a lot better about our offense, which to me was obviously the thing I was most concerned with going into the year, because the quarterback is the long-term position. The offensive line, the left tackle is a long-term position. The defense, if it doesn't work out this year, you try to fill in the holes next year in the draft. You add an edge rusher, but so far the quarterback has looked very good, and the offensive lines look very good. So I'm encouraged with the way the New York Giants offense has played for the majority of this year. Are there times where they've been stagnant? Absolutely. But Garrett needs to continue to open up that playbook and show confidence in his quarterback. But I'm looking forward to seeing how he responds against your Dallas Cowboys. I think Jones is going to have a good day. Mr. Betting Man, thank you very much. Belding Man, thank you very much. Trayvon Diggs is a gambler. He gives up big plays a lot. He is, which is why he has 4 interceptions. He's a gambler, and so far his gambles have paid off. He's a really, really, really athletic player. He almost had another interception, I think, when I was watching the Bucs game, but you're absolutely right. He's definitely a guy that's going to take some chances. New York Giants maybe try to hit him with a double move. When I attack Diggs in this game, I think I'm going, I'm assuming he's going to be lined up on Golladay. I'm going to try to throw a lot of jump balls when I go up against Diggs. I don't know about the short slants, because that short slant, he's a guy that could jump that route. He could tip it with his hand, come up with an interception. If I'm attacking him, I think I'm going for the jump balls on the exterior, try to have Kenny Golladay try to utilize his height and try to come up with a 50-50 ball. I think that is the way that I would try to attack him in this game, but you're absolutely right. Maybe try to get him to overcommit and try to create a big play. Stephen Lilly, man, thank you very much. Hiya, buddy. Please tell me when you last saw one of our quarterbacks have that much time. Damn, DJ could have run the field, got a dog, and gave you a moss cut. Stephen, man, that's why I'm excited, man, about the offense, because the offensive line has not looked like this in a really long time. And you should be excited right now if you're a New York Giant fan about the offensive line, because I think it has more to do with the coaching staff than the players, which is good because the coach ain't leaving. I don't think Billy Price is more than likely going to be a long-term answer. We know Nate Solder's not going to be a long-term answer. Skurr probably not going to be a long-term answer. But for him to get this much out of these players, you think about when they get healthy and when maybe we add a little bit more talent to this offensive line going forward, what he could get out of this unit. So I'm super excited at the performance of the offensive line. But as I continue to say, I think Rob Sale needs to get a ton of credit. And Joseph, he says, should we just been sleeping and keep Ross? Should we just been sleeping and keep Ross? Should we just been sleeping and keep Ross? What do you mean? Just keep? I'm assuming you mean should we just keep Ross in the lineup? I don't think he's going to have a role, but when we're fully healthy, I don't see him being a starter for this team, but there's going to be packages in which they utilize him. They didn't sign him for no reason. He was very productive yesterday. Do I think he's going to be the second or third receiver for this team? Probably not. I think you got to get Shepard back in the lineup. And like I said, I think Tony and Golladay got to get their opportunities, but I have no problem with him even getting more reps than Slayton. To be honest with you, I think he's more explosive. So if he continues to play the way he played yesterday, I see no reason not to have some kind of role with this offense, even when we get fully healthy at the wide receiver position. But thank you very much, buddy. I appreciate it. And Frank, he says, should we be worried about Tony's role when Shepard gets back? Tony seems best suited for the slot. Yeah, I mean, that's a good problem to have, Frank. I think it's always good to have depth on your football team. So that's a good problem to have, at least in my opinion. But yeah, I think they're going to have to find a way to get creative to bring both of them into the lineup, because there's no way you're benching Sterling Shepard. You can't. If he's out there, he's a very good wide receiver. He's one of the best players on this football team. So they're going to have to find a way to get both of them involved in the offense. I think they can. I think there's a way to get both involved. I don't think Tony's exclusively a slot receiver, but like you said, I think he is best utilized on the quick route. Get him the ball 3-4 yards down the field. If he could create that quick separation, a quick shake, and he's got 3 or 4 yards of separation, and then he can make a few men miss and create big plays out of nothing. So they're going to have to find a way to get creative, but I do not want to completely kick Sterling Shepard out of this offense. To me, he's too talented of a player. Great blocker, hard-nosed football player, leader of the football team. Katie, thank you very much. My heart dropped when Barkley fumbled in overtime. I was shocked when Barkley fumbled, because he never fumbles. Maybe stat check me, but I'm pretty sure, and I've said this several times, so maybe I'm wrong, because I haven't looked. I don't think Saquon Barkley's ever lost a fumble. And I think that was only the second time he put the ball on the ground. I think he fumbled his first carry in 2019, and then he jumped on it and he recovered it. And I think this was his second fumble since he's been in the league. But on that play, a great heads-up play by Kyle Rudolph to come up with that fumble, which saved the game. Let's see. And Mike, man, thank you very much. Are you trading back with 2 first-rounders, or are you taking the best 2 offensive linemen? I think I'm taking the 2. Mike, I mean, I don't know where we're going to be picking. I don't know what prospects are going to be there. It's too early, and it's nearly impossible for me to give you an answer in terms of what positions and what players I think the New York Giants should draft at this point in time. I need to see how the rest of this roster plays throughout the rest of the year. Would I attack at least one offensive lineman next year if it was me? More than likely, yes. With one of those 2 first-round picks. And it depends where we're picking. Like if the Bears finish with the 12th pick and we're 15, we're probably not trading down. If we're picking 3rd, well, maybe there's a trade opportunity there where you do trade down. So it's just way too early for me to answer those kind of questions, but you always at least listen to trade down opportunities if there's a really good offer. And Independent says, we need to chill on Tony, just watch overtime. Yeah, I'm not making Tony out to be Odell Beckham. Give him more time, give him more opportunities, and I think he could grow to be a vital part of this offense. But let's not anoint him to be the next Odell Beckham quite yet. But I'm excited to see what he did in his first game, and you definitely saw the potential for sure. And Jai, thank you very much. Are you streaming the next preseason game tomorrow? I may, but a couple of people have asked me to do that. I may, because I'm definitely not going to be able to stream Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Because I'm going to be away Wednesday through Friday, and then Saturday I'll be doing the Giants with Bad Dog, and then Sunday I'll be doing the game. I may. I don't want to commit to that. Obviously, Jai, I'm doing every Knicks game I can this year. I think the regular season starts October 20th, so I'll definitely be streaming a ton of Knicks games. Love doing that. One of my favorite things to do on YouTube. May or may not do the preseason game. Haven't decided yet. We'll see if I have time tomorrow, but I'll definitely be doing pretty much every regular season game. Danny, Matt, thank you very much. I'm starting to think Judge is more of the problem. Yeah, you know what, man? I got on Judge yesterday. By the way, I forgot I have coffee here. I always forget this. This thing's like iced coffee by now, but I'm going to take a sip. I got on Judge yesterday. I didn't like some of his decision-making, but at the end of the day, Danny, when his decision is proven to be the right decision, and it was, I can't get mad at the guy. The 2 decisions that I would have done differently, 4th and 1, I'm going for it. I'm absolutely going for it. But what I'll say about that, Danny, it would have worked out if he made the field goal. If he makes the field goal, that game never goes to overtime, right? We tied up the game. Had he made the field goal from 35 yards out, we win the football game. So in the end, we would have won the game before overtime had Gano made that field goal. The other decision he had on the 4th and 7, again, I would have went for it. 9:24 to go. Your defense has not stopped them the entire second half. He put faith in his defense. We got a 3 and out. We got the ball right back where we had it. And instead of being in 4th and 7, we were in 1st and 10. We ended up winning the football game. The defense got 2 key stops. He put trust in his defense. They did the job. Would I have gone for it? You're damn right I would have. But when it works out, you can't really knock the head coach yesterday. It worked out. His plan worked out. His 2 decisions, had it gone the way it should have with the field goal kick, it would have never went to overtime. But I'm with you, man. I've been saying now for a number of weeks that I want Joe Judge and this New York Giants offense to be much more aggressive. So hopefully he starts to put more confidence in his quarterback. Yeah, I mean, that's all I got to say. I was thinking about something else as I was talking. I forgot off the top of my head. But, yeah, I mean, overall, I'm not completely convinced on Judge, but he got the win yesterday. Oh, yeah, I wanted to commend him on one thing yesterday that I don't think enough people are doing, because I always try to be fair. Like, if I'm going to bash Judge, I'm going to try to give him credit where I think it's due. The team yesterday was so prepared for that environment. The New York Giants yesterday only committed 3 penalties. Story came out after the game that Joe Judge was preparing them all week with loud music in the locker rooms, trying to get them acclimated to loud noises, making sure they didn't beat themselves. They committed 23 penalties over the first 3 games. Yesterday, they only committed 3 penalties for 25 yards. So you got to give Judge credit for that. The team came out. That is a major reason why we won that game. We didn't beat ourselves in a harsh environment. There were very few false starts to my knowledge, and we only committed 3 penalties. So really good job in that aspect by Judge yesterday. Tom, man, thank you very much. Prediction: Garrett gonna bash DJ on the head with a steel chair, WWE style, and announce that he's been a Cowboy loyalist this whole time. Heel turn. Yeah, a lot of people have had that conspiracy theory about Garrett that the Cowboys sent him over here to ruin the New York Giants. Hopefully that's not the case. The Imp Man, on Manning Mondays, we are seeing the real Eli. He's not the old shucks guy he played for. I love Eli. I mean, Eli's my favorite player ever, but I might even love Eli more since he's retired. He's hysterical on Monday Night Football, and even on social media, on Twitter, a lot of his tweets are hysterical. He's a really funny guy, and as a fan of the Giants, when he played, you didn't always get to see that side of him. So it's pretty cool to see him in his retirement, and it seems like he's happy, right? He's found a niche, so I'm happy for Eli, man. He seems like a really happy guy right now in his life. Runaway, Matt, thank you very much. Chance of Dave Gettleman getting fired by the end of the year. I mean, of course, I still think it's more I don't want to put a percentage on it. I got to see how this team plays over the next 13 games. And if you ask me right now, I would be leaning, yeah, just like I said a week ago. I'm not going to change my opinion yet. I need to see more winning. I think it's more likely he'll be fired than not. We're 1-3 in a year in which we spent a ton of money in free agency, but we'll see how this team progresses. Where I think it gets interesting for me on whether or not he's back is, say we win like 7 games, and I know everybody in the chat's going to automatically say he's got to be fired. But because going into the year, I said 9 wins for him to come back, because I assumed the defense was going to be good. And to me, the biggest question mark was the quarterback and the offensive line. So now I'm thinking, if they win 7 games, 8 games, and Daniel Jones and the offensive line is the reason they win those 7 or 8 games, and the defense is the liability due to some injuries with Blake Martinez, due to underperforming, there's an argument to be made to not make a switch, because if you make a switch, they may want to move on from Daniel Jones. You may want to move forward if Daniel Jones shows that he's the guy. And if you're just going to make a change from within the organization and hire, Kevin Abrams, well, what's the point of that? So I don't know, man. It's tough for me to answer that question right now. I know all Giants fans right now are going to say, fire him, fire him, fire him. And right now I'm siding with them until he proves more that this team is headed in the right direction. We need to see a lot more forward growth with this offense and this team in general before I'm willing to say that I would be okay with Dave Gettleman coming back for another year. But yesterday at least was a step in the right direction. We'll see how we play over these next 2 games. But I don't want to put a number on it. I'll be able to give you a much better number in a week or two, seeing how they perform against Dallas and the Rams. But thank you, man. I appreciate it, buddy. Mike, man, thank you very much. Can't run, use short passes to 26 and 89 all day. I think we can run against Dallas. I really do. But I also think we need to try to do that as well against them. I think we need to try to take advantage of their linebackers and coverage with Barkley and Tony, but we also need to try to get a run game established against the Dallas Cowboys. Daniel Jones in particular, I really do think we could utilize his legs against them big time. A young, aggressive defense. You think about that. Well, how does it, that's like a perfect recipe for a read option play with Daniel Jones. If they overcommit, there's going to be an open lane for him to, go up to the races. So I do think there's going to be opportunities for Daniel Jones in the running game to create some big plays this week, but we'll see. Mike, man, thank you very much. And Runaway Train, man, stand up, new member. Welcome to the squad, man. Thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate it. Let's see. Man, it's hot down here, man. It is hot down here, but I'm wearing a sweater because I can't take it off. I went to bed in this. I showered in this. Everything. I'm doing everything in this until they lose a game. I'm going to keep wearing it. So it's hot down here, but I'm doing it for you guys, making sure the New York Giants hopefully can keep that winning streak alive. And let's see. I want to make sure I don't miss anybody. Max is next here, but let me make sure I didn't miss anybody here. I think Max was next. Yeah, he was. Okay. Max, thank you very much. JC Garrett and Dave Gettleman will need to get run out of town. Offensive is not exciting. Gettleman is underperformed and overvalued talent. Yeah, I mean, listen, right now I'm with you on Gettleman. I still have about 13 more games to evaluate the roster. And I don't really see the benefit in conclusively saying that he's going to be fired. But right now I'm definitely leaning that way. I definitely think he's more than likely not going to be back with this football team for sure. Depending on what they do over the next 13 games. I will say the offense, I'm not going to say it's exciting yet, but it's getting closer to exciting. Kadarius Tony's a big play threat. Saquon Barkley showed a lot of big play possibilities in this past game. Kenny Golladay is starting to get more acclimated to Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is a big play potential with his legs. And like I said at the top of the stream, we've already had 6 40-yard plays in just 4 games. Last year, we had 5 all of last year. And we should have 7 if Darius Slayton held on to the football. So I do think it's becoming a more exciting offense. Not quite as exciting as it needs to be, but hopefully this offense continues to grow and get better. I think there's potential with this offense, mainly due to the fact that I have a lot of faith in Andrew Thomas and this offensive line, hopefully continuing to do what they've been doing. But I'm not going to say I'm completely closing the door on anybody yet. I got to see the whole season before I evaluate. But right now, if you ask me, I'd be leaning that you're right. I think they will make a change at the GM right now, based off the performance so far over the first 4 games. And Mike, man, thank you very much. Judge is Livia Soprano, unable to experience joy. That's a pretty good one. I still haven't seen that new movie. Some people, I've gotten mixed reviews from people. Some people have told me it's not so good. Some people have told me it's pretty good. I'm going to have to check that out. But Mike, man, thank you very much. Independent says, great to see a win on a touchdown and not a field goal. Go for it. Yeah, I was a little bit like, I don't know, man. I didn't love the decision for the New York Giants to run. And it worked out because they kicked the field goal and they went into overtime. I would have liked to have seen them show a little bit more aggression at the end of the fourth quarter to try to score a touchdown when I think it was like a third and, I don't know, maybe 10 or 12. I can't remember. They ran the draw play, gave themselves an extra 5 yards for the field goal. I would have liked a little bit more aggression there. But in overtime, you love to see it, man. They were aggressive. They played to win. And they got the win. You know, they went down the field, hit a couple of really nice throws, and obviously Saquon Barkley running it in. They had the nice screen pass to Barkley on that drive as well. So, yeah, man, I love the aggression in overtime for sure. And thank you, Independent. Grim says, I like Judge in the sense of team preparation, but his game decisions leaves points on the board. Combined, Jason Garrett's red zone play calls holding DJ back. Yeah, no, the red zone offense is still a major problem. It was a major problem last year and has not gotten any better. You know, even this past game, the only red zone touchdown we had was on the last drive. And you could at least make an argument that the only reason why we even scored on that last drive was because the defense at that point was probably worn down. It was overtime, right? So we got to get much better in the red zone, man. We do. We got to be able to punch the ball in from inside the 20-yard line. We were horrible last year. We've been just as bad this year. That's a big problem. If that does not get fixed, we will not beat good football teams. I'll tell you that right now. That's got to get much better. Some of that certainly falls on the players, and some of that certainly falls on the play calling as well. They've got to execute when they get inside the 20. That is still a major concern for this offense overall. The big playability is definitely getting better, and the explosiveness, but we've got to cash in when we get our opportunities. And DJ Matt, man, thank you very much. What's good, Dana? Giants Nation was out heavy in New Orleans. We cheered hard all game, and they responded. P.S. The Saints fan hate Rosa. That's awesome. I would think that New Orleans is one of the worst places for Aldrick Rosas to be playing, right? Because didn't he have the DWI while he was with the New York Giants? New Orleans is like one of the biggest party cities in the world with Mardi Gras and everything else. But all kidding aside, and the other thing I want to say about that game, I think he missed like a 58-yard field goal, but I thought Sean Payton's decision, like we bashed Joe Judge's decision-making, rightfully so. I do think he made some questionable decisions. Sean Payton was just as bad, if not worse, with some of the decisions that he had. When he elected to throw with Taysom Hill on that bomb where James Bradbury intercepted it, attempting that 58-yard field goal, which set the New York Giants up with great field position when they hit Ross with the next play. The coaching in this game was not great by either team. Mike, Matt, thank you very much. We are 3-5 still in the hunt. You looking to add at the deadline? Great question. Depends. Yes, probably yes. Because when I look at our second half schedule, I think there's winnable games. So yeah, I think within reason, I'm not selling the farm, but if there's reasonable deals, which usually there is at the deadline, people are looking to get rid of players. If there's a guy out there that you could get for a moderate price that you think could help your football team at 3-5, I think I would. I mean, because I expected this team to be 3-5. I expected this team to be 4-6 after the first 10 games. And then I think the schedule eases up and there's some opportunities for the Giants to win some football games in the second half. So yeah, I think for the right price, again, I'm not selling the farm, but for the right price, if I feel like I could get a guy in here that could help improve this team this year and get, for me to be able to better evaluate the talent on this roster going forward, yes. Anything less than 3-5, though, I'm not a buyer. 2-6, I'm certainly not a buyer. It's got to be 3-5 at a minimum for me to want to be a buyer. And laid back, man, thank you very much. Are we overhyping the win the Saints didn't have Michael Thomas? Listen, man, I'm not overhyping anyone. I do think the offense looks better. I think Jones has looked better all year. So it's not just one game for me. Obviously, that was his signature performance. And Michael Thomas not being out there has nothing to do with the way in which Daniel Jones played. It has nothing to do with the way in which Andrew Thomas played. And those are the two guys in the offensive line in general that I have the most faith in. No, I mean, I don't know. For anybody thinking the Giants are suddenly a playoff team, yeah, you're overhyping it. I'm not doing that. I'm saying to myself, if they beat the Cowboys, then I'll start to think that there's a possibility that this team has a shot at the playoffs. I'm not going to say that off of one win. So anybody saying that off of one win, yeah, you're overhyping it. But for fans that have a more faith in Daniel Jones with that performance, I don't think you're overhyping that. He went up against a good defense on the road in a harsh environment. Game-winning drive through for over 400 yards, had 2 huge drives in that game, one of which sent it to overtime, and then he closed it out in overtime. on that game-winning drive. No, I don't think you're overhyping it. I think Jones, like I said at the top of the stream, his 2 best performances since he's been in the National Football League have come in the first 4 games this year. So, no, I think Jones has improved. I think Thomas has improved. I think the offensive line has improved. As a football team, if you think they're a playoff team off this one game, yeah, you're overhyping it. I don't think that. I think we need to see a lot more before I'm willing to say that. But thank you very much, buddy. I appreciate it. And let's see. Let me make sure I already got Grim. Sometimes it skips. I just want to make sure I don't miss anybody. Giant Station was heavy in New Orleans. Read that. Mike M. read that. Laid back. Read that. And Ordinary Pete, what's up, my man? Just wanted to say hashtag FJB. What's going on, Pete, man? Glad to see you. Pete's awesome, man. Always a great supporter of the channel. He's in all my streams. Glad to see you here, man. Thank you so much for being here, man. And thank you for being a great supporter of the channel. And hopefully you're enjoying your Victory Monday. Easy, man. What's going on, man? That's an expensive drink. I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. This coffee's like $1. He says, have a drink on me, bro. Love the stream yesterday. Whether we win or lose, we always go down swinging. Can these coaches please let Jones loose and keep being aggressive? We just beat a top defensive team, Dallas. Here we come. Yeah, man. Listen, man, I'm the same way as you, man. I've been crying for the New York Giants to open up this offense all year. I want them to show a lot more faith than Daniel Jones, and I think yesterday is the reason why I say that. I see the potential in our quarterback. I see the potential in our offensive playmakers. Could I be wrong and could he falter? Yeah, but I want him to at least get that opportunity. And yesterday was really encouraging. They gave him the shot. They took shots down the field. They opened up the offense, and I knew they were going to have to. The Saints had a really good run defense. To be able to do that, you got to throw the football. You got to make them honor the pass. They did that. That gave them at least some opportunities in the run game as the game progressed. So I was super excited in terms of them opening up the offense yesterday against a very good defense on the road. And hopefully they continue to do that, man. But easy, man. Thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate it, my man. And the Imp says Carter Coughlin is a special player. He's a football player. I believe he could jolt this defense. He will thrive Yeah, he hasn't gotten much of an opportunity. A lot of Giants fans were really excited about Carter Coughlin in the preseason. I didn't think he was going to get much of a role because he's never played middle linebacker before. But as the season wears along, he may get more and more of an opportunity. Obviously, with Blake Martinez now out, we'll see if he gets thrown into the lineup at some point. I thought Reggie Ragland actually looked pretty good yesterday, though, at the middle linebacker position. But we'll see. He's a guy that you can move around as well. You can play him a little bit off the edge. I'd like to see him get some more snaps than what he's gotten, which has pretty much been none. Kyle, man, thank you so much, man. Sup, Chris? Always an awesome show. You are blessed with your knowledge when it comes to sports. I am very happy about our win, but the defense still looked horrible, and going into Dallas is a little worrisome. Kyle, man, I'm completely on board with you, man. The defense is still a major question mark and a major letdown so far this year, and I don't expect this defense to turn around against Dallas. What I'm hoping for as a fan going into this game is, like I said, a bend but don't break approach, hold them to field goals more often than touchdowns, but I don't think we're stopping that offense, and that's not a discredit to the Giants defense. I think that's most defenses. I got a lot of respect for this Dallas offense, so Giants got to try to find a way to hold them to 3 and hopefully stuff the box, right? Because they got a really good running attack this year, man. In my opinion, one of the best running attacks in the NFL, so probably the best over the last 3 games. I mean, I think they've eclipsed 200 yards twice, and the other game was like 170 in their last 3 contests. So they've been running the ball at a really good clip. Yesterday was like a perfect stat line if you're a Cowboys fan. Dak only had like 185 yards. I think he had like 22 passes, and he threw 4 touchdowns. They were able to control the clock with the ground game. They're getting back to what they do best. And yeah, as a Giants fan, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't concerned about how we're going to be able to stack up against that offense. But if the Giants are able to do it, obviously you have a lot more faith in this defense going forward. They've shown glimpses of getting better. I thought in the Falcons game, for the most part, they were really good. They had a couple of bad spots here and there, and they have got to do much better at the end of these first halves. It's embarrassing. They've given up 4 touchdowns to close out the first half in 4 straight games. That cannot continue to happen if we expect to win football games. Defense has to get a whole lot better. The one thing I will say, hopefully something to build off of, the defense played really well the last 9 minutes of that game, and is as big a reason as anything else of why we won it. If we don't get the 2 3 and outs, the offense doesn't have the opportunity to go down on the field and win that football game. So I will say that, and hopefully, it continues to get better over the course of the year. But right now, if you ask me, based off the way they've played so far, I'd have more confidence in the offense. And I can't believe I'm saying that. But it's the truth. Happy Huntsman, man. Thank you very much. Fisk said DJ is Peyton with legs. Looked like it yesterday. You know what, man? I hope Fisk is right. I will never say that. I hope Fisk is right, and if he's right, he'll look like an absolute genius. I have way too much respect for Peyton Manning for me to say that. And that's not a knock on Daniel Jones, Peyton Manning to me is arguably the best regular season quarterback in the history of the NFL, and probably the smartest quarterback in the history of the NFL. So, yeah, I will never take it to those lengths, but I hope he's right. I pray he's right, because that means we're winning a lot of Super Bowls. John, man, thank you very much. Sup, Chris? Do you think Dave Gettleman is trying to sign Jamie Collins on a vet minimum by clearing up cap space? They rewarded Bradbury again, and Tay can't tackle. I was not impressed by our D yesterday with their tackling. I haven't been impressed with our D the entire year with their tackling, especially in that Taysom Hill run. What the hell was that? Taysom Hill ran over our entire defense like they were a bunch of pins and he was a bowling ball. That was horrible. Our tackling's been bad all year, man. That needs to get a whole lot better. The defense is definitely a big concern with this team going forward, and I could only hope it gets better. As far as whether or not they'll sign Jamie Collins, I have no idea. Obviously, the link there is Collins, Judge, played with the Patriots, would fit the scheme. We need help at the linebacker position. The question I have there is, one, you know what? I think the Giants would be interested. My question is more so Jamie Collins. Would Jamie Collins want to play for the Giants, knowing that more than likely they're not really a team that's going to go out to compete to win a championship? And what he'd ask himself is he maybe going to get more snaps there than somewhere else to better prove himself and maybe get a contract next year? But that's a good question. I at this point, I wouldn't be against it. We need help at the linebacker spot. But the question is, would he want to come here or would he rather go to a potential contender? For me, at least. But John, man, I appreciate it, buddy. And Jarrell, man, thank you so much. If we beat Dallas and LA, then our season will be different. Just got to keep our foot on the gas. Love your streams. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. Yeah, to me, like I'm being conservative, man. I just want one. I mean, of course, I want 2 out of 2, but I just want 1 out of 2, man. When the year started, I wanted a 2. I mean, obviously, I wanted a 6-0 start, but I had us predicted to have a 2-4 start with a 9-8 finish. And I know it's gonna be tough to get that 9-8 finish if we get off to a 2-4 start. But I thought the second half of the schedule was much more winnable than the second. And if we could get to 4-6 after 10 games, I think we have an opportunity to potentially go on a run over our final 7 games where, say, we win 5. But we got to get there first. And so, to me, I got to get at least 1 out of these next 2 games. 1 out of the next 2 games. And we'll see if they can do it. It's not going to be easy. Obviously, going against the Rams and going at Dallas, no way in hell do I expect us to win both. I think those are 2 of the top 4 teams in the NFC right now. So that's a tall order. But if they can find a way to win 1 and get to 2-4, beat the Panthers at home, I think we can. I know a lot of people look at the Panthers record and they say, oh my God, they were 3-0. Their only losses to Dallas. Well, their 2 wins came against the Jets and they came against the Jaguars. So, I mean, and they beat the Saints, the same team we beat yesterday. So do I think we can beat the Panthers at home? Yeah. Do I think we can beat the Raiders at home? Yeah, I'm not super high on the Raiders. I know they're up to a 3-0 start, and they've beaten some impressive teams. But if you look at the Raiders over the last 2 or 3 years, they typically always get off to a really good start over the first 4 or 5 games. We'll see if they're consistent. We'll get a good look at them tonight. But it's 1 game at a time. I don't want to even look at the future schedule until the Dallas game. I'm only focused on 1 game at a time. I'm not going to try to project the record going forward. We got to find a way to win 1 out of the next 2 games, though, to try to get to 2-4. That, to me, is the key right now to the season. But thank you, Jarrell, man. I appreciate it. Jesse, man, thank you very much. In your honest opinion, do you think Daniel Jones will keep building on his great season so far this Sunday? I mean, Jesse, I said at the beginning of the year, I thought he was going to have 30 touchdowns. And, I meant both running and passing when I said that, but I thought he was going to have 30 touchdowns. Maybe even more. That's what I thought at the beginning of the year. So, yes, I think he's going to continue to build. He's got 6 right now. Should have 7. Slayton should have held on to the ball. He's played some good defenses. I do think he's going to have a good performance against Dallas. I expect at least 2, if not 3 touchdowns between passing and running. I think he's going to have a really good game. And, yeah, I mean, I see a lot of the teams on our schedule, and I see opportunities for Jones to have big games. The Chiefs' defense is horrific. I think he put up a lot of points against the Chiefs. So I see some opportunities in this schedule for Jones to have a really good year, and I think it'll continue against the Dallas Cowboys. I got faith in our quarterback, man. I really do. I think he's going to have a good year. I think he even has more upside than I thought he did at the start of the year. Upside. That doesn't mean he'll reach it. But I think he has even more upside than I thought he did at the beginning of the year. Not saying he's a top 5 quarterback. I'm not saying that. But I think he's got more upside than I thought at the beginning of the year. And we'll see if he can continue to build. But, yeah, I have faith in Daniel Jones. I think he was put in a really bad situation, much like Eli Manning was over the second half of his career. That's my honest opinion. And Daniel, man, thank you very much. Hey, man, big fan. What's the game plan against the Cowboys to stop the running game? How can we stop them on the ground? I mean, the first thing we could do is pray. You go to church on Sunday, break out the rosary beads, and you pray. That's what Bad Dog and myself did before the game this week. He broke out the phony Jesus. We prayed to the heavens. We got the win. That's the first thing this defense has to do, the way that they've performed against the run, going against this offensive line and this ground attack. So I think that's your strategy 101. But outside of that, I mean, you got to try to stuff the box. You got to try to stuff the box. Maybe run a lot more 4-3 alignments, bring in 2 interior defensive tackles. Try to stuff the box. Try to win up at the point of attack to give them less running lanes. Of course, Pollard's a guy that's explosive and could pop it to the outside. Zeke's more that in between the tackles runner. It's not going to be easy, man. It's not. But you got to try to force Dak to throw the football. And like I said at the top of the stream, if Dak throws 450 yards and they only run for 80, I'd rather a game like that than them just continue to meticulously drive down the field and beat down our defense over the course of the game and dominate in the time of possession. I want, as crazy as it may sound with the weapons that they have, Gallup's out, but they still got 2 really good wide receivers. I'd rather them have to throw the football to try to beat our defense. So I would do everything in my power to try to limit their run as much as I possibly can, but it will not be easy. I mean, this team ran for over 200 yards 2 out of the last 3 games. So it's not easy, man. That's the strength of their football team right now. But Daniel, man, thank you very much, buddy. And Red, man, thank you very much. I don't blame Garrett for our offense being conservative. It's all Judge. He coaches conservative and not to lose. Our defense plays the same way. I agree. A lot of it is Judge. At this point, I don't know how anybody could debate that notion. How could you debate it? When you watch the way that Joe Judge coaches the football team, he's clearly shown, at least so far up to this point in his career, that he's a conservative coach. And maybe that'll change. He's young. He's still only 4 games into his second year of his career as a head coach, and maybe that will change over the course of his career. But I agree, in terms of the conservative game plan week to week, I think that falls just as much on Judge as anybody else. I'm in agreement with you on that. Now, I think what a lot of people say when they bash Garrett is the route concepts. They think that the play calling basically is out of the Flintstones and they want to see the Jetsons. That's my take on it. So they don't like the route concepts. They don't think it's very innovative. So I get that aspect of it. But Garrett opened up the playbook yesterday. I thought he did a good job. I try to be as fair as I can, man. When you're going to bash somebody as much as Giants fans have bashed Garrett, when he calls a good game, he opens up the offense, he does what you've been asking, you got to credit him for it. So I thought yesterday the New York Giants opened up the offense. I thought they took more shots down the field, and hopefully they continue to do that. But I agree, in terms of the conservative approach week to week, I do think that falls a lot more on Judge than some fans may realize. Asia, man, thank you very much. Woman. Thank you for being a great supporter. Stand up, my sexy. And Mark Holmes saying he's going to crush us. By the way, did you hear about Luis Rojas as the Mets manager? I did. I thought it was the right decision by the Mets. I like Luis Rojas. Really nice guy. I think he handles the media beautifully. But outside of that, didn't manage the bullpen well. It just didn't seem like the best of managers. So I think it was a good decision by the Mets to move on. And as far as Mark Holmes goes, I mean, if I was a Cowboys fan, I think we'd crush us too. They're 3-1. We're 1-3. They're at home. He should feel that way. And hopefully we make him eat those words. But I'm going to come in humble. I'm not going to come in cocky. I know we're going against a good football team. I know we're in enemy territory. And our team has a lot more to prove before I'm willing to say that I think we're going to beat a team like that going into the week. Let's see if we can beat them, and then maybe have a lot more confidence going up against the Rams. But I think we're going to have an opportunity. Can't make mistakes. Can't beat ourselves. We did that this week. Didn't beat ourselves. We only committed 3 penalties. Really didn't have a turnover. I don't count the one before halftime. Got to continue to play smart football and try to create big play opportunities in the passing game. Jonathan, man, thank you very much. Jones reminds me of a faster Stafford. I don't know. People often, like, I used to say Tannehill. I don't even know if it's Tannehill anymore. I'm trying to think of like a quarterback that Jones reminds me of. It's not Stafford for me. And I like Stafford. Stafford's really talented. I don't know who it is. That's a great, people have said Matt Ryan, but I don't see that. People have said a more mobile Matt Ryan. To me, Matt Ryan doesn't have a good arm. I think Jones has a better arm than Matt Ryan does. I'll have to get back to you on that. But I'm not in love with the Stafford comparison. But maybe the more mobile. I don't know. That's a good question. What do people in the chat think? Eli with wheel. Goff, I think he's better than Goff. I think he's got better potential than Goff. Let's put it that way. Romo's a guy I've said before. And from a physical skill set, I think he's obviously more athletic than Romo. Romo's a better, more mobile quarterback than people give him credit for, though. He was able to maneuver the pocket very well. I used to say Romo a little bit as well as a quarterback I could see him morphing into. I don't know, man. That's a really, really no. I don't see Cam. Cam's huge, man. Josh Allen's more Cam than Daniel Jones. I like him more than Kirk Cousins in terms of upside. Cousins obviously a more accomplished quarterback. It's tough, man, because he's like, I don't know, man, because he's a little bit Lamar Jackson with his ability to run. Obviously, not nearly as elusive. And obviously, Lamar Jackson is a much better athlete. That's a tough one, man. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that and think about that. Bill, man, thank you very much. Pass blocking has been surprisingly solid, but run blocking has been terrible. Hard to beat Dallas unless that improves. Yeah, the run blocking was better this week for sure, but it's still been, at least before this week was definitely not up to par. I don't see Josh Allen. Carson Wentz, that's not bad. Carson Wentz ain't bad. He's faster than Wentz. Wentz probably has a better arm. That's not a bad one. Tannehill's mobile, Nikki. That's why I frequently compared him to Tannehill. I don't think a lot of people realize that. Tannehill's really fast. He was a former wide receiver in college. A taller Steve Young. Steve Young's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck's probably was more talented, but I could see that. Luck had some legs. Not bad. Bill, man, I already read that, man, actually. But thank you very much, buddy. But yeah, the run blocking has to get better on a week-to-week basis. This past week, it was better, especially when you factor in the opponent, but it has to continue to improve. Let me make sure. And I'm still going to say Tannehill, but I think he has a higher ceiling than Tannehill. But I'm going to say Tannehill. I still definitely see the Tannehill comparison. I remember on draft night, a lot of people were saying that. I see it. I think he has a higher ceiling than Tannehill, which I didn't necessarily think a year ago. G Nation, man, thank you very much. Smash that like, guys. Stand up, Dana. G Nation's the man. I've had him on the channel a couple of times. Unfortunately, I couldn't pull it up here because I'm a little bit behind on the chat. But thank you very much, G Nation. And Jordan said, what situation do you think happens if DJ continues to ball out, yet we only win 6 to 8 games and Dave Gettleman gets fired? You think the new GM will want a new quarterback? Yeah, so I mean, it's so tough for me to say, man. And it's why I even said at the top of the stream, and I know fans don't want to hear it. If we win 7 or 8 games and Jones is really good and the offensive line's maturing, I may not make a change. Because I don't want a guy to come in here and rip everything up. And if Jones is showing progression, you got your future franchise quarterback. It's very tough for me to answer these questions right now until I see the totality of the season. But if we bring in a new GM and Jones is really good, if Jones is really good, and I don't know what your definition of really good is, but if he's a top 10 quarterback this year, I don't see a reason to make a change. So if you bring in a GM that wants to change quarterbacks in a draft class that is thought to be a thin quarterback draft class to begin with, well, that guy probably shouldn't be our GM. So let's see how Daniel Jones does this year before we start worrying about the future. I like a lot of what I've seen so far, but we've got 13 more games to evaluate him. So let's see what happens at the end of the year. I'll answer those questions at the end of the year. But right now, if you ask me if Jones continues to progress, I think he's going to be the quarterback. Regardless of what happens, I think he's going to be the quarterback next year. Brett, man, thank you very much. What did I tell you about Kadarius Tony when I was on the show on Saturday? Dude is a stud after the catch. Him and Shepard will be electric. Brett, listen, man, Kadarius Tony really impressed me. He really did, and I think he could be a lot more of a typical wide receiver than people thought. You frequently heard the term gadget wide receiver. I think he'd be more than a gadget wide receiver. I was very impressed with his route running ability. Or maybe not even necessarily route running ability, but his ability to create quick separation off the line of scrimmage when I got to watch the replay back. JD, man, thank you very much. W is nice, but Nate Solder plus no pass rush is going to be a problem. Well, Nate Solder actually played relatively well yesterday, but overall he's still a major problem. And I'm hoping that we get to see Matt Parrott inserted into this lineup at some point. And I'm hoping that they're just trying to groom the kid and put him in there when they think that he's ready, because he's obviously could be a part of the future of this offensive line. We know that Nate Solder is not. So I'm hoping that Matt Parrott eventually overtakes him. But, I'm not going to bash the offensive line this week, though, man, because they certainly don't deserve to be bashed. The pass rush is a major, major concern going forward. No doubt about it. Pass rush has not gotten home all year. That is still a major concern for me as a Giants fan going forward. I'm with you on that. And we need to draft the pass rush for next year's draft. We just do. Early. Happy Huntsman says, Jones reminds me of Cam Newton. Yeah, he's just not as big. Cam Newton's like a tank. Like Josh Allen to me is more Cam Newton. but I see it a little bit. But a little bit. But I think Josh Allen is more Cam Newton for me than Daniel Jones. It's hard, man. Daniel Jones is like a combination of a lot of quarterbacks for me. Kyle Patrick, man, thank you very much. Keep praying before games. Christ is king. For everyone who asks, receives, and the one who seeks finds, and the one who knocks it will be open. Matthew 7:8. Kyle Patrick, whatever works, man. Whatever works, I'm going to continue to do it, man. If you give me a prayer, even people that aren't religious, if they're watching my streams and the Giants are winning, I'm sure that they will gladly join in on those prayers if it's going to help the New York Giants win football games, Kyle Patrick. So if that's what it takes, and I'll read Matthew 7:8, maybe we'll start reciting those before games if that's going to help the New York Giants win football games. Simon, man, thank you very much. Can't underestimate DJ's size and strength. Truck the defensive tackle. That's a great point. And that play, by the way, Simon, if we win that football game, which we didn't, but if we win that football game against Atlanta, that play could have been the highlight of the year, what he did on that play, man. And that play would have gotten a lot more national recognition than it did. That was insane. And the other thing you got to take a look at on that play was Andrew Thomas. I think it was Bobby, actually, on his film breakdown that I saw it. Andrew Thomas completely cleared the whole left side on that play for him to even have the opportunity to run over Grady Jarrett. He had an unbelievable block on the left side, but Daniel Jones on that play was awesome. Great call by you, Simon, on that play, man. That got me jacked up. Unfortunately, they didn't win. Laid back, man, thank you very much. Should the Giants do more read options to open up the running game? 100%, man. I was pissed off the week before when they didn't run the read option at all. And against Dallas specifically, I really think that read option is going to come into play. They need to use it. It's such an aggressive defense. And the way to combat that is to have plays like that, draw plays, screen plays, read option. So I think they have to try to use that in this game for sure. John, thank you very much, man. Even the defensive issues, the Giants have given up the fewest points in the NFC East. Really? That's interesting. Huh. I'd have to look at who the teams have gone up against, but that's interesting, especially when you factor, well, the Eagles played the Chiefs this week, but the Eagles didn't give up a whole lot of points the first 2 weeks. I think they only gave up 17 points to the Niners and the 6 points to the Falcons. That's an interesting stat that I was not aware of, John, but I'm sure some of that might have to do with in terms of opponent. Logical, man, thank you very much. I got assigned a new partner at work. He's an Eagles fan and is convinced that they're winning the Super Bowl this year. How do I ask for a new partner? That sounds like a typical Eagles fan. Even off to a 1-3 start, I'm sure there's several Eagles fans watching this stream right now that think the Eagles are going to go 14-3. They got something wrong in their head. There were several Eagles video makers this week that thought they were going to beat the Chiefs or had a good opportunity to beat the Chiefs. There's something wrong in their head. I mean, you got to have something wrong in your head if you're an Eagles fan to begin with. So, logical. The first thing you got to do, maybe find a psychiatrist for him. Try to help him out. If you care about him, try to help him out. Benjamin, man, thank you very much. I'm so pissed with the Cardinals that I dead-ass went all Caucasian coaches in the NFC West to go, but keep McVay and ask Faruqi how much it would be to make the sports perfect. I am shocked, Benjamin, at how bad, and obviously I didn't get to watch that game, but I am shocked at how bad the Cardinals beat the Rams, and they're off to a great start. And right now, if I was doing a power rankings, I think the Cardinals are 1. I mean, they're 4-0. They've had some impressive wins. And it's early in the season, but really, really impressive start for the Cardinals. I didn't see that coming. Last Jedi, what's going on? Good game again, Moss God. Now go beat Dallas. Thank you so much. Of course, Last Jedi, a huge Saints fan. Class act. Thank you so much for being such a great supporter of the channel. And best of, I got nothing against your Saints. Best of luck the rest of the way. Sebastian says, don't forget about Riverboat Ron, one of Daniel Jones in the draft. So if he does get traded, I wouldn't be surprised Washington wanting him. Here's what I'll say to that, Sebastian. I wouldn't be surprised if Washington wanted him, but the Giants aren't going to trade him to Washington. You're not going to trade your quarterback from within division. If they ever were going to trade Daniel Jones, which hopefully they don't, it'd be out of conference. And there's several teams out of conference where it could work. It could be the Steelers. It could be the Broncos. It could be the Colts. They would never trade in division. Wouldn't happen. And Matthew, man, thank you very much. Can't wait for Dak to tear you all apart. Go, boys. Oh, I can't wait, Matthew. I can't wait for the game, and we'll see. May the best team win. I ain't going in cocky. I ain't going to tear your team apart. I'll let you guys do the tearing. I'll let you guys give us bulletin board material, and we'll see how it plays out at the end of the game. I'm going in very relaxed, going in with limited expectations. I want my team to go out there and fight. And if they win, we're going to have a lot to celebrate about. But I'll let you guys run your mouth. You guys have earned it. You're 3-1. We're 1-3. We're in your house. All the pressure's on you. You guys got to win this game. You guys should win this game. The Giants stink. You guys are the best. You're America's team. So I'm going to tip my cap. I'm going to expect you guys to beat us. Let's see if you can do it. Mike, man, thank you very much. What's up, Dana? I have a chance to win $195 tonight. I just need the Chargers to win. So I'm the biggest Chargers fan tonight. Go Chargers, go. Well, good luck, man. Hopefully you win, buddy. I don't know if that's a pick'em league or whatever. So best of luck, man. And Ron, he says the whole defense is a concern. I agree. I do think we've been better in coverage over the last couple of weeks, but overall the defense the entire year has been a concern. Whether it's the guy calling the plays with Patrick Graham, whether it's been the pass rush, whatever. The defense has been a major letdown. They've had glimpses. Like this past game, they were pretty good the first quarter and a half. They were really good the first quarter and a half. We were getting run on, but we weren't giving up any points. The Falcons game, for the most part, we were good. But overall, we have not put forward a great defensive effort for one game this entire year. And we haven't gone up against high-powered offenses. We went up against the backup quarterback of Washington. We went up against Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, it's definitely been a major letdown so far. And Ballistic, man, what's going on, buddy? He says, all I got to say is cut Evan Engram. We have Caden Smith, which has shown more than Engram, as well as Rudolph, which is showing improvement. Yeah, I don't think they're going to do it. But I know for a fact, sorry about that. I know for a fact New York Giants fans would love to cut Evan Engram, and the reasoning is completely justified with the way he's cost this team football games. And it just seems like every time he gets an opportunity, he screws up. So I completely understand why New York Giants feel the way in which they do. I just don't see it happening. So I try to think realistically. They aren't going to cut Engram. They're just not going to do it. They seem to like him. This will be his last year, though. He won't be back with the New York Giants after this. Engram for Mac. I mean, if you could do it, why not? I would trade Engram for a bag of Skittles. I am not an Engram fan at this point. I trade him for a bag of Skittles. So if you get Marlon Mack for him, do it. I just don't see it happening, man. I just don't see it happening. Hey, Chris, did you see these other comments I said? Jameson, no, I did not, but thank you for popping in the stream. Appreciate it, my man. I think it would help Engram as well. I don't think he's going to do a good job here. I think it's a lot of mental things. I don't think he's going to succeed in New York. Thomas, man, thank you very much. He says, good, tough win. The team showed hard. Biggest question for this defense is the pass rush. Maybe give Roche some playing time. Look good in the preseason. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. But yeah, I mean, at this point, we're not getting to the quarterback anyway. Roche was a guy I really liked. I posted on Twitter like 3 weeks before the draft that I would have been happy if we took him in the third round. So I liked Roche in the pre-draft process. I was excited when we brought him in. Maybe he does get an opportunity. It's not like Lorenzo Carter's getting home. I don't think I've said his name all year. So maybe he does get an opportunity. It can't hurt, man. Are you fine with those green Skittles being lime instead of green apple? Yeah, I mean, listen, man, yes. If that's what it takes, I personally am a much bigger fan of the green apple, personally. But if it means that I have to settle for the lime to get Evan Engram out of the New York Giants organization, I'd probably have to do it. Let's see what we got here, man. Is Instagram going to be? I have no idea about Instagram. I know that there was like a complete social media like knockdown the entire this morning. And actually, when I tried to set this stream up, StreamYard said it wasn't working. So I think that kind of coincided with it. I'm assuming if StreamYard's working, probably everything else is working as well. What's going on there, Nino? Hustle, man. Thanks for popping in the stream, buddy. Glad to see you, man. Congratulations on Victory Monday. Let's go New York Giants, man. Let's see. Gabe says, can someone remind me the last time we beat the Cowboys? Last year. Our last game last year. Actually, it was our last win before yesterday. Beat the Cowboys the last game of the season last year. Of course, Dak wasn't in the lineup, but we beat him. Should have beat him twice. Referees called back 2 touchdowns last year in the first time we played Dallas. Otherwise, we would have beat them. Should have swept Dallas last year. Of course, they were banged up because Dak Prescott wasn't playing, but last year. Let's see what we got here, man. Let's see. Do you think we are going to finally turn the corner? I do think that the offense is going to be much better this year. Yes, I do. I have faith in that. And it can't be much worse. We were like the worst offense in football last year. But I do think the offense is going to turn the corner this year. Yes, I do. And Ballistic, man, the dome was so silent when Say's. You were at the game, or you're just talking about in terms of watching it on TV? Yeah, I mean they should be. They're completely let down. Saints went into that game thinking for sure they're going to beat the Giants. They're 7-point favorites. They're home. It's the first game in the dome all year. I'm sure the crowd was electric. And the New York Giants put them to bed. They had a 21-10 lead with 9 minutes to go with the ball. I mean, my God. How do you lose that game? You think Jones looks like a less accurate Dak? Maybe I'm crazy, Jack. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm nuts. If you put Jones in Dak's situation, I think he can do what Dak can. I do. And if you put Dak in Jones' situation, I don't know if he could do what Jones could do. But maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm nuts. I think Dak's in a fantastic situation. Give Jones the ability to play for an offense that could run the ball for 200 yards every game. Give him that chance, because Dak's had that pretty much his entire career. Give Jones that chance. Let's see what we got here, man. Fire Matt Nagy stinks. Fire Matt Nagy is a Giants fan. The Saints thing they do before the game is actually insane. Oh, is it? And Gowie's, man, thank you very much. He says, what you think about having Peppers play linebacker? He's better in the box than in pass coverage. He only had I know he got hurt this game, but he only had 19 snaps yesterday, which was crazy. But I think he got hurt in like the third quarter. I mean, I don't know. I don't think he's big enough to be an every down linebacker, but could they use him more in the box? Sure. He's obviously a liability in coverage. He's gotten cooked by tight ends all year. We tried to put him on Noah Fant week 1, and he got destroyed. Sure, I don't think he's an every down linebacker, though. I don't think he's big enough to play as an every down linebacker. And it would be very hard for him to transition to play that position full time in season in which he's never played it. But could they utilize him in that spot in certain situations? Yes. Start Tony over Slayton. I got to, man. Do you think we can win 5 out of these next? All right, let's go over the schedule real quick. I actually pulled it up, so I want to take a look at it. Let me make it a little bit bigger for you guys. I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see this, but this is the Giants' upcoming schedule. You've got at Dallas. I don't know what your question was, but I'll tell you, how it looks. At Dallas, the Rams, Carolina home, at Kansas City, Vegas, at Tampa Bay. That's your next 6 games. Right now, we're 1-3. For me, they got to absolutely, if we're going to have any opportunity this year to have a shot late into the season, Carolina's a must-win game. The Raiders are a must-win game. And 1 out of the next 2 are a must-win game. You got to either beat at Dallas or the Rams at home. If you win one of those 2 and you beat Carolina in Vegas, that's, of course, assuming we're going to lose to the Chiefs in Tampa Bay. If you win 1 out of the next 2 and beat Carolina and the Raiders, this is what needs to happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen. That's 3 out of the next 6. If you do that, you're 4-6. That then sets you up for the opportunity after that to play the Eagles at home, which is a must-win game. Must-win game. That's 5-6. You then have to find a way to win 1 out of those 2 road games, Miami and the Chargers. That's 6-7. If you could do that, then you got to win your home games in the division. You got to beat the Cowboys. You got to beat Washington. And you got to split between at Chicago and at Philadelphia. And if you do that, that's 9 wins. But it's 1 game at a time, and we got to find a way to get to 4-6. We got to find a way to get to 4-6 after the Bucs game to have an opportunity, in my opinion, to be able to do any damage this year. So that's my take on the schedule going forward. And let's see what we got here, man. But we got to get to 2-4 before we get to 4-6. John says, who cares about the Cowgirls? They've been screaming Super Bowl for the past 20 years and still haven't won jack shit. I think we will beat the Cowgirls 31-28. I sure hope so, man. I sure hope you're right, man. We'll see. I sure hope so. And Benjamin, man, thank you very much. He says, I think it was great to see the GOAT quarterback return back to Foxborough to beat the GOAT head coach. Brady is now the NFL passing yards leader. Yeah, Benjamin, I jokingly said it in my Discord during that game is Brady's just like a magician, man. I think Brady probably, he might have blew that football to the right field goal post to make sure that ball didn't go through the uprights. But I did not agree. I don't know about you guys in the chat. I don't know who watched the game and who didn't. I did not agree with Bill Belichick's decision there to kick that field goal. I think it was like a 57-yarder, and it was 56 maybe, and it was really bad weather conditions. And I know Falk's a really good kicker. Here's my thing with that decision in that spot. If you make the field goal, you go up by 1 point. But here's my thing, man. One, I think it's at best a 50-50 proposition that he makes the field goal. At best, in those weather conditions. And it was a great kick. Should have went through the uprights if it was a foot more to the right. Okay? But it's at best a 50-50 proposition that he makes the field goal. And even if he makes it, you give Tom Brady the ball back with one timeout with still a minute left in the game to go down the field and kick a winning field goal for your team to lose. If I'm the head coach, Bill Belichick, there, I would sooner rather give my quarterback the opportunity to pick up the 4th and 3 to try to win the football game and give myself a more makeable field goal. I thought it was a really bad decision there for the Patriots to even attempt that field goal in that spot. Let's see. Dak will never win a Super Bowl at Matthew Goodman. All right. I sure hope you're right, man. Why are there Cowboy fans? Well, because they're playing us this week. So they're a little nervous. Why else would they be in a Giants stream? They're a little nervous. They're not going to act it. A little nervous. I'm like, all right, maybe the Giants didn't look as bad as we thought. A little nervous. Yeah, I think they had to go for it. Pavit, man, what's going on, man? When do the Giants play the Saints, and are you streaming it? Pavit, I haven't decided yet. I think they play the Saints yesterday. But I'm going to let you know, and if they do play them yesterday, I'll let you know if I'm going to stream it in about an hour. I'll let you know, Pavit, man. But thank you so much for popping the stream, man. I appreciate all the support that you always show, buddy. And Benjamin, man, thank you very much. He says, I believe Jared Williams has been cuddling with the sports pervert and his meatballs. Oh, my God. 6 inch. And, of course, after the Giants-Browns win yesterday, they were streaming tennis. And does he really stream tennis? You keep saying that. I can't imagine doing a play-by-play for tennis. What's up there, Tyler, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, buddy. Jones is definitely better than Dak. He always folds in the play. Well, let's get to the playoffs first before we start saying he's better than Dak. All right, let's beat Dak. I don't remember the last time the Giants beat Dak. Well, I do. It was a long time ago. Let's beat Dak. Why would I be nervous for the Giants? You shouldn't be. We'll see what happens this week, though. Tana, what do you think about Eli becoming the offensive coordinator next year? I just don't see it. People ask me that question all the time. Could you see Eli Manning being a head coach? Could you see Eli Manning being an offensive coordinator? No, and no. I think Eli Manning is happy where he's at. He's with his family. He's doing some casual play-by-play on Monday Night Football. I think he's happy where he's at. I don't think he wants to go through the strenuous schedule of being a head coach or an offensive coordinator. So I just don't ever see that happening. Let's see what we got here. I love being underdogs, Easy Lopez. It's great. I agree. Dak is 7-2 versus the Giants, which means there's no excuses. You guys should kill us this week. You guys should demolish us this week. I got no pressure as a Giants fan. You guys are supposed to kill us, so let's see if you do. That's the route I'm going to take this week. You guys are supposed to kill us. We got no pressure. You're this dominant football team. You're this Super Bowl contender. You guys should crush us. You're at home. Let's see if you can do it. Let's see what we got here, man. Danny needs to be able to throw the ball like he did against the Saints. I think he can. I think Danny's good, man. I think he's going to continue to progress and get better, man. Hey, and a UK fan here. Great work during the game. Rank the top 10 quarterbacks. Oh man. I will give you the answer to that at the end of the year. Because in season it's hard. But right now, guys, for sure that are in the top 10, I still have to have obviously Josh Allen in my top 10. I'm not saying in order, but Allen's in my top 10. Mahomes in my top 10. Brady's obviously in my top 10. Aaron Rodgers obviously in my top 10. Kyler Murray's definitely in my top 10. I'd have to think, I'll let you know at the end of the year because my list may change, but Herbert is probably trending towards top 10 for sure. Mike, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. He says, by the way, Entertainer, will you be doing any off-season What Do You Shea streams or yeah, during during the dead time of sports, yeah, I'll do baseball content for sure. It's just that this year, man, I was just so busy, and those streams are like 4 hours. It takes up a lot of time, and that's why I don't do a ton of Mets games. And then they kind of just fell apart. I intended to do more Mets games, but they just fell apart. And I was like, I'll just go to Met games. But yeah, as long as they're competitive, I'll try to do more Met games this year. But the baseball streams, they really wear down, man. It literally takes up like a 30-year day. So that's why. Basketball games are quick. They're 2 hours. Super Bowl contender got to win at least 2 consecutive playoff games in the playoffs last. Oh, yeah. Was happy for you guys yesterday. Appreciate that, Cornelius. I think you're a Jet fan, if I'm not mistaken. I was happy for you guys. New York got 2 wins in the same day. What are the chances of that? Didn't see that happening. I think Belichick kicked the field goal wanting to shut down Brady on the 1-minute drive. I think he did it for ego since Brady is the last-minute king. Well, that's just stupid. I'm not saying maybe your theory is right, but that's just stupid. You never give Tom Brady an opportunity with a minute left. It just didn't make any sense to me. I know if you don't get the first down, the game's over, but a 57-yard field goal in the rain is nothing. It's far from a sure thing to begin with. Let's see. Yo, what's going on there? Random man, thanks for popping in. What you got to say about Kadarius Tony? I've been talking about him all stream, man, but I'm super impressed with Kadarius Tony. I know how New York fans get. I know how we got when Daniel Jones had his first start. After the Tampa Bay Bucs, everybody's like, oh my God. He's the next Peyton Manning. He's the next Tom Brady. Danny Dimes. So I'm not going to do that with Kadarius Tony because I know New York fans are reactionary. As a New York Knicks fan, I know after we drafted Kevin Knox, people were saying, oh my God, he's the next Kevin Durant. So I'm not going to go crazy yet with Kadarius Tony. But what I will say, Kadarius Tony certainly showed me yesterday that I think he could be an every down wide receiver. I don't think he's strictly a gadget player. I definitely think he's an elusive wide receiver. He's a big play waiting to happen. So I'm a fan. I think he could be a really good player, but obviously I need to see a lot more before I anoint him like this incredible wide receiver. But he's off to a good start, and I like the way that the New York Giants used him in the first game. So I'm a fan, man. Tana, what happened to Kid Blue? Kid Blue's still on YouTube. Kid Blue's still on YouTube, man. He does a show weekly with the Hub. How do you think the defense looks after this game? Not good. Not good. Not good. And Bricks, man, thank you so much, man. Wow, that guy's jacked. Maybe that's why his name's Bricks. But thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. He says, click that thumbs up. Yeah, if you haven't done so, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell. I'm going to be live for like another half hour. Then I'm going to get some dinner. But I just want, again, I try to say thank you all the time to all you guys, man, for all the support. I wanted to go live today, 1, because we won, and it's a victory Monday, but 2, because I'm not going to be able to go live Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, because I'm going to be away. Maybe live tomorrow on another channel. I'm not sure yet, but I wanted to go live today and get to talk a little bit further about the victory with you guys, get into a little bit of the Dallas Cowboys talk, and appreciate everybody for showing up. Easy Lopez says, Danny Dimes trucking Diggs on the way to an 85-yard run. I love it. I love it. I love it, man. I hope that's the case, man. Let's start Tony and trade away Shepard. I don't see us getting any value for Shepard. I just don't see it because of his contract. It has nothing to do with him as a player, but because of his contract and his injury history. I don't see a lot of teams rushing to the table to trade for him. Maybe, but I like Shepard, man. I like Shepard. It's funny, man. It's funny how it works, man. And I'm super excited about Kadarius Tony. Like, I'm super excited about what he did yesterday, and I'm really happy he's a part of this team. And he definitely showed some of the things that made me excited as a fan when we drafted him yesterday. And he's super explosive, and he adds another element to this team. But just a week ago, 7 days ago, I had New York, or maybe like 10 days ago, I had Giants fans on my channel saying, can we make Sterling Shepard the captain? Can we, now that Blake Martinez got hurt and there's another captain's badge available, can we make Shepard the captain? He's awesome. He's been incredible this year. He's one of the best wide receivers in the sport. And now fans are so quick to want to trade the guy. because they see how Tony played in his first game. Ease up a little bit. I still like Sterling Shepard. I still think Sterling Shepard's a really good player. I'm not in a rush to trade him. I still like Sterling Shepard. You just got to stay healthy. He obviously has injury problems, but. And Mike, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. He says, no, I meant for the offseason for baseball, not necessarily stream, but like content, like free. Oh, yeah, perhaps. Yeah, I'll try. Obviously, during the, I do mainly football content too, because football's offseason and baseball's offseason kind of coincide. So it's hard for me to do a lot of, other content outside of football during the offseason, outside of streaming Knicks games, but I'll try. Let's see. I hope Shep plays this. We'll see about Shep, man. He had 18 catches in 2 games. Now I don't get I don't get people suddenly turning on Shepard. I mean, the guy got hurt. He's a good player. Trade Slayton and Engram. Yeah, the problem is you're not getting much for either one, but if you get Skittles for Engram, you do it. How about no trades and just focus on football? I'm with you, Ellington. No trades, focus on football. I'm with you. Keep this team together. Let's see if they can continue to progress and grow and hopefully build off this win. I'm with you. No trades, focus on football. John says it will be interesting how the Manning brothers will call the Giants Monday Night Football. Yeah, I'm going to have to record that because obviously I stream the game. So I'm going to have to record that and watch Eli Manning call it back. But I'm sure they're going to be, Eli's not going to, Eli works for the Giants right now, right? I don't know what his Ish V2 says I give up. So I'm trying to figure out why he gave up. Let me go back in the chat and try to figure out why Ish V2 gave up. Let me see. Did Ish V2 give up because there he goes. Would you rather have Shep start at slot or Tony? There you go, Ish. So don't give up. Don't ever give up. Don't ever give up in life, Ish. My answer to you, would I rather have Shep start in slot or Tony? I mean, Shep has demonstrated over the course of his career that he's capable of playing both on the inside and out. I think Shep is best suited to play in the slot. It's why I was excited when I thought he was going to play exclusively in the slot this year. But that's a great question, man. I personally would probably prefer to leave Shep in the slot when he comes back. I think that's his best position. I think that's where he's best suited. But then that begs the question is how you're going to involve Kadarius Tony. I don't think you necessarily have to use Tony in the slot, though. He's a guy that creates quick separation. I think you can still line him up on the outside. Maybe you give him some reps in the slot. But I want to leave Shepard in the slot. I think that's where he's best suited. He's a guy that's very sure-handed. He's a very good route runner. He's good for third down situations. I do not want to move Sterling Shepard from the slot. I think that's where he's best suited as an NFL wide receiver. And they got to get creative with it, in terms of the way that they use Kadarius Tony. But I would prefer to leave Shepard in the slot. But yeah, if you can, use both in the slot. And Mike, man, thank you very much. He says, we keep Shepard, but Slayton lost his. Yes, I don't think Slayton's going to get much playing time going forward. Will says, do you agree with the Pats 56? No, yeah, I don't know if you just popped in. I just talked about that for about 3 minutes. I thought that was a terrible decision. I don't know what Bill Belichick was thinking. With the weather conditions, first off, it's a good chance you're not going to make it. It's 56, 57 yards out. But even if you make it, you give Tom Brady 50 seconds with a timeout to go down and kick the field goal. The way I look at it is the percentage are much more in your favor to go for it on 4th and 3, try to pick up that first down, get a more makeable field goal opportunity, and drain the rest of the clock so Brady can't go down the field and beat you. So I did not like that decision by Belichick. I thought they should have went for it. And David says, I hope we don't trade Shep. He's a good player. Need to limit Ingram's role and keep him from sharing with Butterfingers with the rest of the team. Yeah, he should not. If there is one guy you don't want to get any lessons from in terms of catching a football, if you're a young player in the Giants, if you're watching this stream, which you're probably not, don't talk to Evan Engram. He doesn't know how to hold on to a football. Avery says, every media outlet covers the Giants when we lose, but I've been scouring YouTube trying to find clips praising Danny and no mentions respect given. The only media outlet, Evan Engram says, what the blank? Sorry, Mr. Engram. The only media outlet that has really given Daniel Jones, and I don't even know, no, they're not really a media outlet, but the only I don't know, PFF has been the only, and I know we hate PFF as Giant fans, but they've really been the only source that's really gone out of their way to really praise Daniel Jones. They came out with an article today. I think he's the second highest passer right now in terms of their grading system in the NFL. through 4 weeks in terms of the way that they grade it. I forgot what the number is, but he's the second highest in the league through 4 weeks. But you're right. They're not, you know what, man? And rightfully so. We got to earn that praise, right? We've been bad for so long. So I don't expect the national media to go out of their way to prop up the Giants until we really earn it. If we beat Dallas and Jones looks good on the big stage against the Dallas Cowboys, Jones is going to get a lot more recognition. Trust me. That's the Dallas Cowboys. That's NFC's rivalry right there. So that'll get national recognition. If Jones goes out there, has another really good game in a row, you'll start to see the ESPNs, the CB, whatever, start to come around on Daniel Jones a little bit. But it's a big game for Jones this week. We'll see how he responds. Dominic, man, thank you very much. Feels good to celebrate Victory Monday. Always feels good to celebrate Victory Monday, man. I'm so glad that I got to celebrate it with you guys today, having a lot of fun. Start cutting down Engram snaps and stop relying on Slayton to make a big play. I don't think Ron, man, I really don't think Slayton is going to be utilized that much with this team going forward, especially when you see the way that Ross played. They're kind of similar type of wide receivers. I really don't think Slayton's going to be used much when he comes back. You got to find a way to keep Ross in this offense, some way, shape, or form. I wouldn't even mind Ross returning kicks. You know, I understand the philosophy for people that say they don't want Tony returning kicks because they're scared he'll get hurt. Ross, of course, has extensive injury history as well, but he's not a guy that's, really with the long-term plans of this football team. You got to find a way to get him on the field, man. He's too explosive of a weapon. DJ will be fine against the Cowboys, but the defense has to do something. Yeah, I agree. I think our offense will move the ball against the Cowboys. I worry about the red zone, like I do with any opponent. But I think DJ will move the football against Dallas. I agree with you on that. Super Bowl energy comes Sunday. Giants fans play like Tyler. I cannot wait to call that game. I cannot wait to call that game with you guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully we win. Amit, man, thank you very much. Hey, Chris, New York fans are like a kid on Christmas Day. Even when they get their favorite toy they always wanted, they see their little kid bro opens the present. They forget about that favorite toy. Trade Shepard, please stop the madness. Amit, it's killing me. I see everybody coming in, and I get it because they saw that the offense looked explosive, and they're like, we don't want to change anything. Kadarius Tony and John Ross, but have a little respect for Sterling Shepard, man. The guy was our best player before he went down with the injury. True Apples, man, thank you very much. Defense can't stop John Ross, Kadarius Tony simultaneously, plus Galladay. Don't forget about Saquon Barkley either. Saquon Barkley, to me, is our best weapon in any way, shape, or form when he's 100%. And that, to me, is what was so exciting yesterday is he's starting to get back to form. Can you guys, and, much like people forget about Sterling Shepard, and they're saying, let's throw him to the Wolves, can we remember just a week ago, people were saying, plenty of people, on my YouTube channel, on Twitter, that Saquon Barkley was done? That Saquon Barkley was washed? Can we go back in time a week and remember that people were saying that? He don't look washed. Saquon looks like he's starting to get back into form just a little bit, right? I think Saquon Barkley's going to be fine. I can't wait to see Barkley continue to get closer and closer back to the Barkley that he once was in 2018. Man, I think he's on. I think he's on a revenge tour this year. I really do. I think he's going to have a big year. Just get him confident, man. I think a lot of it's mental, and it looked like he's starting to get much more acclimated to playing football this past week. Nora, what's going on, Nora Alex, man? Thanks for popping in. I guess no one remembers Shep making key. Oh, dude, Shepard's an awesome blocker, man. And let's see what we got here. True Rappeless, man, thank you very much. No, didn't forget, just from a secondary stamp. I hear you, True Rappeless, man. Barkley on demon time. That's right, man. Levi, man, thank you very much, man. I wasn't one of them. I'm telling you this right now. I'm not saying you were, but there were people. Levi says, Barkley on that wheel. Sheesh. Oh, we got to use Barkley more. We got to use Barkley more in the passing game and not just the screen passes, not just the wheel, the wheel routes. Get him out in open space down the field, man. The guy's got great hands. He's a good route runner. He can make plays in the passing game. Keep doing it, man. Get Barkley in the ball in space more is right. Braden says, yo, Chris, I think that the secondary is being overhated right now. I agree, actually, with that. I think the secondary's played better than people are giving them credit for. That hasn't been the problem the last couple of weeks. It's been – now, I will say there were spurts in that game when the secondary was not good. Okay? And another thing I want to say, man, We talk about halftime adjustments. You cannot, and we won, so we forget about it. But you cannot let the New Orleans Saints, the first play, they hit on a 50-yard pass to start the second half. That can't happen. Secondary's got to do a better job there. Overall, I agree. I don't think the secondary's been that bad as of late. And don't forget about the touchdown we gave up that was called back because of a holding penalty. Where I forgot who it was, but somebody in the secondary got completely cooked. Would have been about a 60-yard touchdown pass. So let's not forget about that either. Giants are top 10 in passing yards right now. Jones is legit. Not to mention only one pick, and it was a pre-halftime Hail Mary. Yeah, Daniel Jones has thrown 2 picks over his last 10 games. 2 over his last 10 games. One was off of both of Evan Ingram's hands. The other was a Hail Mary before the end of the half. Can we put the Danny turnovers thing to bed? Maybe we will soon. I told you Joe Judge was laid back. He's been too conservative for me, man. Trey Manning says, what's the record, though? I love when people bring this up. And don't get me wrong. A quarterback has as much to do with a team winning and losing as any other position. More than any other position. It's the most important position. So I get why people look at quarterbacks' records. I get it. Let me ask you a question, Trey Manning. What was Deshaun Watson's record last year? Because I think you probably agree with me that Deshaun Watson's a top 5 quarterback, top 6 quarterback. What was his record? I'd love for you to tell me. Maybe you don't remember. What was Eli Manning's record the first half of his career and the second half of his career when he didn't have a team? It's a team game. Daniel Jones has not had a good team. I don't like to just analyze quarterbacks by record. Deshaun Watson was 4-12 last year because he was on a horrible football team. Let's see what we got. Rudy, man, what's going on, buddy? Tana, what's up, my man? How about them Giant dude? It feels good. It feels good to finally have a win, man. It feels good to finally have a win and get to celebrate a win with you guys the next day. And hopefully this carries over against the Dallas Cowboys, man. But we'll see, man. And yeah, to be fair, he should be 3-1 to no fault of his own this year. Patrick Graham says, I think he only had 6 wins last year, Justin Herbert. Garrett's going to cook up a mean playbook and game plan for Dallas. I sure hope so, man. Do we have to pay Barkley after this season? No. We got to see how the season plays out, Olivia. We got to see how he plays all year and see what see if he's going to be in the long-term plan, see what his market is. There's a lot of factors. But, that's something that we talk about at the end of the year. Like right now, he's got to, before that even becomes a possibility, he's got to stay healthy all year. And he's got to prove that he's the old Saquon. If he does that, well, then, that becomes a strong possibility. But he's got to do it first. He's got to prove he can stay healthy, and he's got to prove that he can make a big difference in this offense. This past game was definitely took a step towards doing that. But he's got to do it all year, and we'll see if he can do it. Keys to fix this defense and get them off the field. Generating pass rush. Start there. It's hard to get off the field when you can't generate a pass rush. So generate a pass rush. We know we don't have the best edge rushers in the world. We know we got to do it through scheme. Well, he better start dialing up some better blitzes. Find ways to, manipulate offenses and create some better opportunities to get after the quarterback. Starts there. We're not going to be able to get off the field more often than not if we're not getting pressure on the quarterback. So got to do that. Some way, shape, or form. Get pressure on the opposing quarterback. Hey, Chris, we should maybe add another edge rusher. 100%. Edge rusher, offensive line, middle linebacker. Those are 3 areas I'm looking at in this year's draft. Definitely need a dominant edge. It's crazy how one win or loss completely transforms a fan base. That's football, man. You think about it. Baseball's 162 game season. Football's 16. Well, now 17. One game is equivalent to 10, right? In baseball, or 16 rather in baseball. Whatever it is. I'm not good at math. 10 in baseball. So one game means a lot more in football than any other sport. And you start to say as a fan, you say to yourself, well, really, we should beat 3-1. We should have beat Washington. We definitely should have beat the Falcons, and we didn't. maybe we could win a game or two that we didn't think we should win. It'll offset it, and maybe we'll be back on track. Football's, it's an up and down game. That's the way the game works. It's a game of momentum as well. And you hope as a fan the team finds some momentum out of this and they can build off of it. Not going to be easy though with our schedule. We'll see if we can do it. Let's see. Alvin, man, thank you very much. I don't care how many yards Jones has. I care about how many points he is putting up. Show me he can score 20 to 30 points every game. I'm with you. I think he can. If we can continue to block, I think he can. Harry, man, thank you very much. Hey, Chris, nice win. DJ's look good this season. I don't hear anyone complaining about Andrew Thomas. No pass rush. Remember, 10 draft picks, 2022. Great call about the draft picks. We have a ton of draft picks in 2022, and obviously 2 first-round draft picks. Andrew Thomas, haven't said his name once all year. He's been awesome. Awesome. That was Dave Gettleman's best pick, as far as I'm concerned. Since I've been on YouTube, you watch my draft reaction that night, I was ecstatic when they made that pick. Ecstatic. So, and he's starting to really hit home. And again, a lot of credit goes to Rob Sale, but Andrew Thomas has been awesome. Been one of the best left tackles in football this year. So, really good for the future of this football team. Both Andrew Thomas and Daniel Jones, 2 most important positions on a football team. And Irvin says, your thoughts about the Mets not bringing back. I'm happy about it. And again, I'm not super excited because like a manager in baseball doesn't mean nearly as much as a head coach in football. They don't really influence the game that much. Like a good manager can make up probably 4 or 5 wins throughout a year in terms of the way that they manage the bullpen, set the lineup, double switches. That comes into play in the National League as well, even though it won't going forward because there's going to be a DH next year. But to me, Rojas, his management of the bullpen was horrible. Sometimes his in-game decision-making wasn't very good. And he just wasn't. He was never the manager to begin with. The Mets only hired him because they had to fire Beltran because of the Astros scandal. So I think the New York Mets needed a shakeup. And obviously, hopefully they get on the right track, man. I'm excited. I'm a Met fan. And I do think we got a lot of talent on this team, man. And we'll see what we could do. You look at our lineup, man. It's really good. We had a lot of injuries. And hopefully we can add another starting pitcher. But you get Syndergaard back next year. You get DeGrom back next year. And hopefully we get a general manager and a manager in here that know what they're doing. And we could get this team back to where they need to be, man. But I'm excited about the Mets, man. I thought the Mets were going to be much better this year. Didn't work out, but hopefully it does going forward. Malachi, man, thank you very much, man, for the $2 donation, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, losing Blake Martinez is definitely a big blow. Andrew says, I remember a question you asked yesterday about having Daniel Jones break out, but we disappoint, or we go 10-7, but Daniel Jones busts. I would much rather have Daniel Jones break out for the future of the New York Giants. That's my mindset too, Andrew. It is. And, obviously, we all want to make the playoffs. But I'm talking about for like long-term success for this organization. If you gave me going into and again, everybody's got their own opinion. But for me, going into the year, if you gave me option A, offensive line overperforms what we thought they were going to do because of the coaching, and Daniel Jones is really good, like top 12, or B, Daniel Jones is essentially Mitch Trubisky in the year in which the Bears went to the playoffs where they won 10 or 11 games and Trubisky got carried because he had a really good defense, and we go 10-7. I would go with option A because I would say to myself, okay, we're building something here. We got a guy that could be a franchise quarterback going forward. We'll fill in the holes in that defense. We'll shore up the offensive line, and we may have something going forward for a long time. You look at the best teams in the NFL. They've got franchise quarterbacks year in and year out. They got a guy that they could depend on. If you want, of course, you could have years like the Bears did or like the Jaguars did in 2018. The Jaguars went to the AFC title game behind a really good running attack and behind a really good defense. But for sustained success, to be contenders year in and year out, you need a stable quarterback. So for me, I go with option A every time for long-term success of this organization. Max, of course, you want to be able to combine them. I'd love option C, where we go 10-7, the defense takes off, and Jones has a great year. But if I could only have one or the other, I go option A. Max, man, thank you very much. I know we're enjoying it, but week 5 prediction. Max, man, I'm going to continue to do Bricks, man. Be good, man. Thank you so much for tuning in the stream, man. I'm going to continue to do what I did this week, and I'm going to continue to pick against the New York Giants. I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys. I picked the Cowboys before the year started. The Cowboys look better than I thought they would before the year started. If I'm being honest, their defense is better than I thought they would be. So there's no reason why I should pick against the Dallas Cowboys. I got to be unbiased. I do like some of the things I saw with the offense this week. I do think the Giants will be able to move the ball on Dallas, but I'm taking the Cowboys. and all the pressure's on Dallas. We got no pressure. That's going to be my motto. That's going to be my mindset going into this game. We got no pressure. It's all on you, Dallas. You're supposed to beat us. You're at home. According to your fan base, you're the best team in the NFC. You should kill us. I'm taking Dallas by about a touchdown. Let's see what we got here. And Malachi, man, thank you very much, man, for the $1.99 donation. Chris Lee, man, thank you very much. This was touched upon a few times, but watching Tony play and how elusive he is, it makes me wonder what took so long to get him out on the field. I mean, I think it's what Vodka Drinker just said. I think that's a part of it. I think it's because he was a rookie. For sure. I think it's because he's a rookie. He barely played throughout the entire preseason and training camp, right? Because due to the virus and due to injuries. So I was not surprised that he didn't have much of a role the first 2 weeks. I thought he might be returning kicks and maybe get a couple of touches more than he did, but I was not surprised being that they were only 3 days apart. Week 3, maybe I did expect a little bit more of a role. So I would say maybe they're a week behind from what I initially expected when the year started in terms of his role with this offense. But the first 2 weeks, I kind of understood a little bit because he barely played at all in preseason due to injuries and due to him being sick. So maybe a week behind, but it is what it is. Water under the bridge. He's looking really good right now. Let's continue to see it going forward. Jameson says, I'm so bored right now. Jameson, go play a video game. Go outside, Jameson. I'm sure it's beautiful where you are. Go outside. Go play some basketball. Daniel says, is the lack of pass rush letting our coverage down, or is our coverage letting our pass? I think it's definitely the lack of pass rush. Coverage is definitely stronger on this team than the pass rush. Colin Johnson was picked up 2 weeks before. I know. Colin Johnson was picked up 2 weeks before the Atlanta game. I think he had a 5-catch game. It's a poor excuse. Yeah, he should have had more role week 3. Didn't. Whatever. We got 13 more games. Let's see how he continues to progress. Sure, he should have been out there a week earlier. He wasn't. Are we going to cry over spilt milk or hope he continues to improve going forward? Go live tomorrow, Chris. We'll see, Nikki. We'll see. And JJ says, Tony's performed just like I thought he would. Explosive cuts. Dude, I watched the highlights after, man. This guy's a weapon, man. This guy's a weapon. Cowboys fans have anointed Micah Parsons as the defensive player of the year. We don't say, no, James, it's over. It's over. I think the Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl going away. Cowboys might win the Super Bowl by 50 points. They're going to win this game by 70. They're going to kill us. Let's see what we got here. There's an excellent chess game going on in the park for those interested. Well, there you go, Vodka Drinker. Maybe you could take on Vodka Drinker in chess. Sling says, ideally, we could trade down for future picks, then go heavy on offensive line and edge. Calling the Knicks game versus the Pacers tomorrow. I might. I don't know. People have asked me that. A couple people asked me that. I might do the preseason game. We'll see. If I do, it'll probably be the only preseason game I call because I'm going to be busy this week. And I know the regular season starts in like 2 weeks. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm definitely doing the regular season games. And saying Keistu, thank you very much for the 99-cent donation. I really appreciate it. You still think we'll make another pick up on the D-line? What do you mean, in season this year? Maybe. I mean, we could go with, if we're going to bring in anybody in season in terms of the defense, I think it would be either an edge rusher, linebacker, or somebody on the D-line. If we're gonna add somebody, whether it be off of waivers or at the trade deadline, I think those are the 3 biggest areas of need right now in this football team. Obviously, with Blake Martinez going down, so maybe. I don't know if I'm going to call the Knicks game tomorrow. I don't know. Kadarius Tony is like Tyreek Hill. I love it. I hope he is. He's definitely elusive like him. I'll say that. Tyreek Hill, he's definitely benefits from being in a great situation. He's got Pat Mahomes and he's got Andy Reid. That doesn't hurt, but he is explosive. But Tyreek Hill's dangerous. Mike, thank you very much, man. Any manager you'd like the Mets to hire? To be honest with you, I haven't done much research into what managers are going to be available. I'll give you a better answer though. When I hear about some of the potential guys they're going to be looking at. But I haven't done much research into who's potentially available to fill that vacancy for the Mets. So I don't want to give you a bullshit answer. But when I start to hear some of the names that may be available, Yeah, I'll try to give you a better answer. OBJ started out slow and looked what happened. I think Tony is more elusive than OBJ, but OBJ has better hands. I ain't even starting to breach that comparison. I am not putting Tony and OBJ's. Let's calm down. Let's calm down. Let's calm down. Let's see him have 3 or 4 really good games in a row before we start to bring up OBJ and Tony in the same sentence. But I pray. I definitely think he's dangerous. Rob Sale and Pat Flaherty should be getting a dub. I agree with you 100%. Rob Sale, what he's done with this, and Pat Flaherty as well. Like you said, he needs some credit as well, who the Giants brought in more so as like a consultant, who's the former offensive line coach with the team. They have done a miraculous job with this offensive line this year. Incredible job so far with the talent that they have. Not Joe, I know. It's why I was happy when we drafted him. I've watched plenty of Kadarius Tony highlights. The guy makes quick separation off the line of scrimmage. He's elusive. He's a really exciting football player. I ain't going to put him in the same stratosphere of Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham was the best wide receiver in the history of the NFL over his first 3 years. He had a better start to his career than any receiver ever has. If not the best, one of the 2 or 3 best. Like, let's see a little bit more before we start doing that. And Chris Lee, man, thank you very much, man. Where's the red hoodie? What do you mean, where's the red hoodie? What do you mean, where's the red hoodie? Red hoodie don't come off, man. Red hoodie don't come off, man. When you start a winning streak, it don't come off, man. What do you mean, where's the red hoodie? What's going on, Chris Lee, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. What's going on there, Jabari, man? Thanks for popping in. Oh, that was great, Avish. That was great. You're talking about on the coin toss. That was great. And Mike Moran says Kenny Golladay and Tony could be what we hoped OBJ and Cruz. I hope so, Mike. I really do. I hope so, man. It don't come off, Jay says. You damn right it don't come off. James says, don't. Chris looks like Kadarius Tony. I get that all the time, Arian, actually. People say I rap like him, too. And they say I run routes like him, too. I get that all the time, all 3 of them, actually. I'm surprised that people say that. But I think I look more like Jackie Chan, personally. But people say Tony. Yo, Dana, what's going on there? Super Mario, man. Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Joe says, looks orange, does it? Well, it's red. Where did you? I don't know. I've had this hoodie forever. I don't even remember where I got it from. I've had it forever. It's an old hoodie. I broke it out because I think the reasoning I wore it the first time I said was because it's the oldest piece of outside of jerseys of like New York Giants clothing that I have, and the New York Giants have not been good forever. So I was trying to bring back a little bit of the old vibes to try to make the New York Giants start winning football games. David, Matt, thank you very much. He says, I know you're not a hockey guy, but I'm feeling good about the Devils' chances to win games this year. Also, I want to follow the Knicks more this year. Well, you're on the right channel because I'm going to be calling every Knicks game that I can this year, pretty much every regular season game. So hopefully you come on by, have fun. Those streams are a lot of fun. Hockey, I guess I'm an Islanders guy. I'm from Long Island originally, and I always rooted for them for that reason alone. And but I don't have hate for the Rangers either. I root for either team when they're doing well. I'm not a big hockey. I'd actually like to get more into hockey. But I was always much bigger of a basketball fan, and they kind of, happen at the same time. I'm a diehard Knicks fan, but yeah, I guess I'd pull for the Islanders, but I'm not the biggest hockey guy. I do watch the playoffs when I can. What's going on there, Jose, man? Thanks for popping in, buddy. Daniel Jones has been at least above average this year. Of course he has. He's been fantastic. Did you see the Barkley post? I did not. I got to check that out. I did not see that. I'm going to my first Giants game this season, November 7th against the Raiders. Any advice? Just have fun. I mean, I get there early, tailgate, have fun, be responsible, and pray before you go in. Because I'll tell you what, Olivia, I am horrible luck when it comes to going to Giants games. They never win when I go. So part of me is like, should I go to the Eagles game this year? They never win when I go. I went to 3 Giants games when they won the Super Bowl in 2007. And they lost all 3. And I went to the Jets game in 2019. They lost. They never win when I go. So I feel like I'm bad luck for the Giants. But hopefully you're good luck. Hopefully they win when you go. That's a game I think we can win. And I think we should. I don't care how the Raiders look so far this year. I think we should beat the Raiders. But we'll see. But just enjoy the game and have fun. Raiders fans are insane. Just watch it. Yeah, they are. It's one of the Bills fans and Raiders fans are probably two of the and Eagles fans. They eat horse shit. Are probably three of the craziest fan bases in the NFL. By any chance, do you watch the mob channels? No, I don't. 500 likes. Wow, look what happened to your channel. Well, I appreciate that, Bob. Yeah, get up to 600. Like, subscribe, ring the bell. Appreciate everybody for being here. Listen, I feel like Giants fans are a lot quicker to hit that like button when they're winning. They're like, yeah, they're winning. I'm going to hit the like. They're winning. When they're losing, they're like, oh, I'm going to blame Chris for my problems. Yeah, stay home, Ray says. Roy says, yeah, I should. What do you think about Andrew Thomas and the O-line so far? A+ in terms of what my preseason expectations were, especially based off of last game. Andrew Thomas specifically, A++, if I could do it. He's been fantastic, man. I hit the like button regardless. I appreciate that, Afghanistan. Shout out to Galladay. Beast run yesterday. He wants it. Galladay, oh my God. And he showed that before, too. I think the game before. He's shown that he's physical and he's after he makes the catch and he tries to run people over. You love to see that kind of aggression out of Kenny Galladay, man. I love the quote that he had. I don't have it now, but I read it this morning about what he said about Daniel Jones and how he basically said that he knew he always had it in him and how he thinks he could be a great quarterback in the NFL. Barkley basically said the same thing. Tony said the same thing. So it was great to see the confidence that these players are having in their quarterback. Any news on? I have no news on Quincy Roche, Dane. I just hope he gets an opportunity, but I have no news on Quincy Roche. No news on Quincy Roche. But I am going to close it out, guys. It's 6. I only wanted to go to 6. I'm going to get dinner. But I just want to go live for a couple hours with you guys and celebrate this victory with you guys, man. And Greg, man, thank you so much, man. Did the Giants give up? Yes, they also had 0 sacks. So they gave up 0 sacks. They had 0 sacks. But I am going to close the you got it. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in, man. Thank you guys for showing all your passion. But I just want to say thank you to everybody, man, for all the support you guys always show for the streams. I have so much fun, man. You guys heard my enthusiasm when we won. That's because of you guys just as much as the Giants themselves, man. Because like obviously I get so pumped up during those streams with all the people in there, and it's so much fun, man. And hopefully I get to have another loud stand-up this week if the New York Giants. My stand-up this week if the New York – I'm going to warn you guys right now. If the New York Giants beat the Dallas Cowboys this week, take your headphones out of your ears. Because my stand-up this week will be like 5 times. Because I had so many people on Twitter be like, oh, my God, the stand-up was incredible. You got, they're like, I felt that in my bones. If they beat the Dallas Cowboys this week, just mute your cell phones. Take your headphones out of your ears. I'm going to be going freaking crazy if the New York Giants ever beat the Dallas Cowboys. But thank you guys for all the support that you guys always show. And thank you guys for being the best supporters on YouTube. And hopefully the New York Giants get off to a 2-3 start. I'll definitely have probably a video up tomorrow. I'll probably have some videos up from the hotel. I'm going to be away for 3 days. But if something, big drops, I'll probably have a video or 2 up from the hotel I'm going to be at. And on Saturday, I'll be live with Bad Dog on this channel for Talking Giants before we live stream the game on Sunday. So thank you to everybody for being here. And, enjoy the rest of your week and enjoy feeling good about a Giants win. As always, if you liked what you watched, please subscribe, drop a comment, maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers. Be good, everybody.